Javier is secretly
What?
like a hippie.
Are we rolling or are we not rolling?
Oh yeah. Anyway, it's somewhat about music, but not really. So let's just roll with it.
I own a music club.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, I do want that.
You run a music blog?
I own a music club.
Oh, music club. I was like,
music club. Music
I
club.
never heard of this blog.
No,
Okay,
I'm
cool.
not
All right.
You
Well,
run a
then,
club?
we are going.
No one told me that.
Well, since it'll be the all right. Well, we're officially going. Not to force it or anything, but since it'll be the last show of 2020.
Yes.
Thanks
Here's
for
to
being
a fucking
here.
Cheers to
year.
you. Thank you for being here.
One hell of a year.
2021.
Can't get much worse than 2020, I don't think.
Oh, just wait and see.
By the way, Damian Anastasio.
Hey, very good.
Yeah, you know,
You
tripped
got
and
it.
stumbled my way over it.
I feel left out.
Oh yeah,
I'm not a
him
host
also.
of the show.
I'm like, oh, you're in
I'm
my
a guest right now.
You're in my band, so like,
And just for the record, they have a whiskey that has a cork.
yeah,
That's class.
that's called class.
Are
Yeah,
you a Four? Oh, thank you.
we try our best.
Are you a Four Roses fan?
I'm gonna insist on.
my grandfather used to drink 4 Roses.
I love Four
When?
Roses.
Back
Yeah.
in the 20s.
They're small batch.
Really?
They're small batch is where it's at. Beautiful.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting that, but I was like,
For those unfamiliar, Damian Anastasio is part owner of what I would consider my favorite venue in town.
Very nice of you.
Partially for
We're biased,
how
yeah.
we've been treated.
Yeah.
We've been treated extremely well.
you guys do treat bands more fairly than any band in any club in LA.
Yeah, well, for people who think that the LA venue scene sucks, because it does, actual good treatment at this venue. So,
Thank you.
Jason and I and Seven all kind of feel like we're a live music club, so we want to make sure the bands are comfortable and they have a good time and they feel like it's home.
Yeah.
And so we make sure everyone gets paid, even if it's actually you guys do really well because you have a great draw.
Yeah.
But not all bands do that well. But we try to make sure everyone gets
When
paid
we started,
and they
though,
feel
man,
like it's home.
When we started, first time, like 3 or 4 times we played Harvelles, we maybe brought max 10 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you now
let us come back.
Now you kill it. Well, because we like you.
Yeah.
We like your music. You're good to us, and we're good to you. And it's a good relationship. But
Yeah,
that's the point. Is we always feel like if we treat the bands well and they have a good time, it's only good for the club to have a good reputation for bands that want to come back and play.
Yeah, but see, you guys understand that, and why don't most venues understand that? They don't. The bookers book incoherent nights. Like the venue has they see
At other venues.
Not at Harvelles. I'm saying at most LA venues that the owners don't seem to care. Like I talked to you ever been to the Hi Hat in Highland Park?
Not for a long time, but
Rip.
not there.
Yeah, which is no longer because the pandemic
There's quite a few that
Pour out
Yeah,
some
they
for the homie.
wiped them out. Yeah. Well, I knew the booker there, and I was asking her like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you move the stage? You know, because it's in an awkward place in the Hi Hat. She's
An
like,
acoustically insane place to put a stage. If you know anything about acoustics. You know
it's
what I
just
mean?
like on a wall, and she's like, well, the owners just don't want to do that, and the owners don't really care. So maybe the difference with Harvelles is that the owners are actually
Well, I think it goes back to people. Most owners look at the bottom line.
Mhm.
They want to make money, and no doubt we want them too.
yeah, of course.
But in the bigger picture, if the bands are happy and the sound engineer feels good and the place sounds good,
Yeah.
we're gonna make money.
Yes,
It's
that-
a no-brainer.
exactly.
but
But there a lot of owners look at the bottom line and just go, "Fuck it, I don't care what the bands think. I don't
Exactly.
care how they feel.
yeah,
They have to play here. They have to have a place to play.
yeah,
So we're going to make money, and that's all there is to it. I think the bigger picture is more important, not just in running a club, but in life. You can't just care about yourself without watching out for the people around you.
bizarre.
When you also, that's where our visions align from. For those who don't know, I book shows, or when shows existed, I booked shows, many of which were at Harvelles, and the thing that kind of made my shows more successful than some of my peers' shows. I'm not going to say they're necessarily the most successful shows in town, but they definitely had heat and attention. Is that the whole idea was let's treat people fairly, let's make the metric only about quality, right? Like that's the other thing is a lot of venues will take a shitty band because they bring 200 people, but it's like, yo, but anyone who isn't part of that 200 people who went to high school with this shitty band is going to show up and be like, oh, this place sucks, and they're going to leave. Whereas so many people who've come to the West Side Revival shows have then later been like, dude, how do I book a show at Harvelles? Or like they've just ended up like, dude, I was at Harvelles the other night. They come back.
Well, 2 points is a shitty band isn't going to have that draw.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
For their first show, they might have a ton of friends.
Yeah.
But if they do 2 or 3 shows, that number's going to drop.
They'll wipe it up right up.
And so as a venue owner, Jason is much more picky about who plays.
Yeah.
But there is an aspect of that band's okay, they're not great, but they have a great draw.
Yes, you always gotta balance things.
And so there is a balance there. I forget what my other point is.
I was gonna say, I heard you say 2 points.
I was trying to get to the other one.
We're gonna smoothly segue right on in.
Either way, I appreciate that though, because it's like.
Oh, the other thing was that you guys, and your band too, you guys always kill it. During the pandemic, we were doing those live shows and broadcasting outside. And most of the bands didn't understand that, look, this is a different time. It's tough. It's really hard. If you get people to watch online and pay $10 or donate, people to come out, there's only 14, 15 tables, 16 max if you draw. You guys are the only band that consistently filled that patio. And I don't understand why other bands didn't get it. Like this,
it might be their demographics. Like I can certainly say that our fan base is more likely to be the sort of people who would be willing to go to the patio than say some of our friends' bands. Their fan bases are just going to be much more COVID scared.
Yeah.
And I mean, we even dealt with that. Like the Oil Barons brought a bunch of people for the stream.
But you guys killed it on the stream as well.
Yeah.
That was in large part thanks to them because they had all their friends who were just afraid to go to the patio.
Oil Barons?
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely we did pretty well. Well, I mean, for us though, we hadn't played a show in a while, but at the same time, like we knew if we're gonna do something like this, it's like we
do it big.
Other bands, like, not to say we're the most successful band in the world, we're not. But for being at the level we're at, a lot of other bands come to us and ask, like, how are you doing what you're doing? And it's because as people, we think about the business. Band is
a business.
Well, it's not just, it is the joy of music that brings you into playing, but if you want to be taken seriously as a band and maybe try to work your way up the rungs of the ladder.
Let's be clear about business though.
Yeah.
You guys do your business stuff, but your music and your style is not
it's
attuned to I'm going to be a huge success at all. We do what we love.
Yep.
Right.
And you're really fucking good at it.
Yeah, thank you.
And so that combination is what really works. If you start to try to do something to sell out and be a business person, you might have a little bit of success, but you're not going to be very good.
No.
Yeah, and well, dude, I would rather have a cult following of, say, 100,000 people who buy my album than
I wish.
I was going to say, if we could get it.
I thought you were going to say 100 people.
We already have over 100 people who are diehard fans.
We do have a strange.
And that is one of the things that helps is a lot of bands, for instance, they'll be like, why do you do Bandcamp, for instance? And we'll be like, well, because there are people who will actually buy everything we put out because they actually really like the music and they listen to it regularly. And if you have, in the age of microeconomies and the internet, right? Like if you actually have enough people, it doesn't really matter if you're selling a platinum record.
Exactly.
Because you can make it.
There's another huge point is the way it's set up now with technology and the internet. It's different. You don't say nobody sells 100 million albums.
Yeah, exactly.
A platinum record now is something like
did they lower the standards?
It's either 500,000 or a million. It's like 500,000 plays, maybe. Maybe that's a gold record.
Plays
on Spotify. That's just for a song.
Wow. Wait,
for an album.
It's certified as platinum if it gets
by streams now.
So they've changed the requirements.
Yeah, they changed it like 2 years ago.
They had to at some point
because there was no one getting a platinum record.
Nobody's selling records.
I would love to see. I've looked into the numbers a few times of just like top selling artists of all time. They did have to change the standards so that modern artists could get any recognition at all on those lists because no one's buying anything.
Right. Well, and the problem there is
except for our 100 diehard fans.
Well, that's the nice thing about rock and roll versus a lot of other genres is the people there really care about it, like on an emotional level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so they are willing to like give you money just because like I want you to keep doing what you're doing. And I'm the same way. I buy every single song I have on my phone. I download all of them.
When there's a band that rolls through Harvelles, I go, I like those guys and I want them to succeed. Out of my own pocket, not out of Harvelles money, out of my money, I'll download and buy it through whatever provider they have, whether they're selling it on their own or through Apple Music or whatever.
I've seen your email come up on some of our stuff.
Because I want to give back.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I'm not rich by any means, but I certainly can put back into artists' pockets.
Sure.
You get what you pay for, right?
Yeah.
And I think maybe you'll disagree, but I know we agree that the quality of pop music in the past 10 years has somehow tanked from where it was in 2007, which is like
that's a low bar already.
And the reason seems to be that there's no direct feedback mechanism like it used to be. If you're good, people buy it, thus you make more records, and good records are the number one records. Now it's like if they pay for it, there you go.
Yeah.
And there's no feedback based around quality.
There's a lot of factors involved. Well, one of them is the glut in the industry of artists.
Yeah.
There's probably more artists now than there ever were.
Yeah, I mean that's
because you can make your own music.
Yeah, it's people. I think indie musicians like us are focusing on the microeconomy aspect because there is no way with the music we do to focus on the major economy. But you also don't really have tastemakers as much anymore, which I think is a huge problem. You have Spotify algorithms and the placement people. Which I think it ruins good music. There's no incentive for people to make good music.
And blogs are done.
Exactly. The only incentive.
No one goes to blogs anymore.
Well, if you're going to try to do it,
replace websites.
If you're going to try to do it as a business,
obsolete.
What you do is what a lot of people do is try to make something that will specifically appeal to the people who do placements and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And no one does placements because the people who do placements are just trying to appeal to the people who have heard this, prepackaged thing. So it's like a cycle that sort of ensures that nothing authentic is going to be produced.
Do you from your standpoint, do you think that if a band talent-wise and innovative-wise and product-wise puts out something that's like, oh my God, that's special?
Yeah.
Do you think that they rise to the top in the way the industry is structured?
No.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
So we have this is what I find fascinating. You guys have two different opinions on that.
I wouldn't be in a band if I thought no.
Why do you think no and why do you think yes?
I mean,
how do you like that I'm now interviewing?
I was going to say, what the hell is this, Anastasio? Well, you're saying rise to the top.
Do you think they get noticed? Do you think they have a better chance of making it? Like I've seen bands come through Harvelles, and I'm like, they're special.
Yeah,
right.
And when I do that, when I get that feeling, those bands usually do really well. Yeah. You guys were one, Westerner.
Thank you. And now I'm looking forward to doing really well.
There's a band called Manuel the Band that I love.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them.
And
Vintage Trouble.
They were before my time, but
they're cool.
But we've been doing live streams with them once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And there was a point where I was like, how fucking lucky am I? I get to hang out with these guys once every 2 weeks for 2 hours.
That's cool.
And just get to listen to them practice and then play for an hour.
And you guys had the hot tip on Dirty Honey too.
That was the other one I was going to mention.
Yeah.
Dirty Honey, they had a different name when they played. They were called the Shags. And I looked
at... 2 Gs?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
But I looked at Jason, I was like, these guys are really fucking good.
Yeah.
So there's been a handful of bands that I've noticed that, and I've gone, oh my God. And most of them have done really well.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. Do you think that, I think that if a band has that kind of special something going on, that they have a better chance of rising to the top, even in the way the business is now.
Yeah.
Because I think,
I think
as much as the business has changed,
okay,
when there were still record labels that were powerful, that they would snatch up those bands.
I misunderstood your question then. I kind of thought of it in the context of what we were talking about before, which is
the charts.
With the charts and then sort of the direction of the industry.
I mean, Sturgill tops the charts.
Well, no, I would say rise to the top is, is Dirty Honey like the defining thing?
They had a number one hit.
A number one hit?
Number one hit on the radio charts.
On which chart?
The rock radio charts.
Who the hell listens to rock radio?
I don't know, people in tank tops, but like, who cares?
I'm wearing a tank top.
Yo, I like tank tops. Yeah, I wear them all the time.
I'm only at home when I'm beating my wife.
Yeah. Teach her a lesson.
I'm single, by the way. I don't want to.
No ring.
Well, what I'm saying there is like Dirty Honey. They have a kind of funny deal. Actually, I don't know how much I should share, but I know that they have some major distribution, and so that helps, right? But like, they still ended up getting that hit by touring.
So the question is,
they
how
toured.
did they get that major distribution?
They know somebody.
Mark knew some people, I think, from acting.
Okay.
I something like
So
that.
they had a connection.
Also,
It's
John
a
and
little
Justin
bit
had been from.
As an actor, I know. I have friends that are ridiculously talented.
Yeah.
And just special.
Yeah.
And they struggle and they never get anywhere.
That's how it
And
is.
I have friends that are ridiculously talented that are special that hit.
Get all the work.
And they just had they were at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is.
So there's a lot of
got to
that
position
going on.
yourself for that, you know.
And that's what I think, going back to what you said about
Yeah.
being a businessman,
Yep.
doing your art, doing what you love, making sure it's really at home and you're doing what you care about
Yeah.
and you're good at it,
Yeah.
and then having a smart business acumen.
Well, and that's the thing is like, I don't come from a background of like there would be no reason that I just happen to be good at business. My parents are so quintessentially Midwest. Did a great job for the record.
Well, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, exactly. Let's maybe I'm still alive though. You know?
I would kill myself
The bar, exactly.
for anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. No murder, no suicide. Doing okay. But you
Little
know,
larceny.
yeah, light larceny for sure. I mean,
I launder
we
my
were all
money.
teenagers once. Like
I left $100 in my pants pocket.
I used to
Sent the dry
steal
cleaners, too.
booze from a store by putting it down the front of my pants and then going up like with a sweatshirt on and then going up and buying a candy bar and then
That's business acumen in your mind? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
That's larceny.
Yeah.
that's larceny. We were talking about larceny.
Trying to keep up, Jack.
Whoopsie.
We're all here, man.
Where are you?
No, my dad, he's a small business owner, but it's signs and stamps. And he's not really too concerned about he just recently became interested in like marketing and advertising. And then my mom is, and it's third generation business. So
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Just gets the orders and makes them and now he's like, all right, I think I could expand this. It's like, better late than never. I no longer live under your roof, so would have been great if you did that back then, but
could have had a bigger house.
yeah, it was reasonable enough. And my mom's
when you're an
nurse,
artist, having that business savvy that it never comes from having an MBA. It never comes from going to school.
Certainly
It
doesn't.
comes from having your eyes open and watching how the business grows.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And bands that we're still trying to sell albums and still trying to get record deals in the 2000s and 2010s and now are never going to make it.
Well, yeah, that's the wrong way to look at it.
It's having your eyes open and having your feet on the ground and at the same time being an artist and loving what you do, understanding that, look, everything is growing and changing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't grow and change the way the business is, I'm just doing music in my living room for myself.
Exactly.
Right, well, and I may hate social media, but I remember...
it's a love-hate thing.
Yeah, sure. But
It's
I generally hate it, to be
necessity.
honest.
It's a necessity.
It is a necessity, and also you have to think about
There's
the
so
way
much good
the
that
consumer...
comes from it, though. I mean, there's a lot of bad, too.
Sure, but think about...
That's
I'm not
a
trying to
whole
rant on
other
social
podcast.
media.
yeah, we can do it.
I'm just trying to say, think about how the consumer or the listener is going to be perceiving you. And so I think about like my friend's band from Detroit. Now they're just the Dropout, but they used to be called Nigel and the Dropout when Nigel was in the band.
Well, Nigel dropped out.
Yeah, and then he dropped out.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But they got featured on the front page of the Pirate Bay in like 2011.
That is fucking awesome.
And I was like, dude, this is fucking dope. Like I sent him a text.
That's
I was
exactly
like, that's
what
super
I would
cool.
want, dude. Yeah.
And I was like, how'd you do that? And he's like, I just had a friend who was able to get me in touch with the people who run the Pirate Bay. Pirate Bay at the time was trying to kind of legitimize themselves so they wouldn't get totally fucked.
Yeah, right.
And
They did. They got shut down.
like 17 times.
Yeah, they got shut down so many times.
But they're the head. They call themselves Hydra, the head of the Hydra, where you cut off one head, two more pop up. You know?
I think if there is a God, the reason I'm not more successful as a musician is growing up, I stole so much fucking music.
Oh yeah.
I stole so much music.
But like but that was the way it was.
All bands steal in one way or another.
Oh no, I mean we stole downloads.
Oh, you stole
music. Like pirated.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
I mean that everyone did.
Different times.
16, that's what you did.
What was
I couldn't
that?
afford that music then when I was a kid.
What was the first download? It was a famous app.
Napster. Yeah.
I had LimeWire.
LimeWire
LimeWire.
was great.
And then that would just give you so many viruses and destroy your computer.
By the way, I forgot to tell you, don't move that stool because then the audio will stop. You're good.
Not the one you're sitting on, the one in your ass.
Oh, gotcha.
Actually, don't move that stool because I'll leave.
But the point is
He'll
like,
be there. He'll be doing it by himself.
if you were Metallica, like I understand why they sued Napster. Don't get me wrong, and in fact, I think they got a bad rap for it. But if you're them,
Lars did, and you know what? He was right.
He was right, but at the same time,
didn't they lose that lawsuit?
I don't remember if they lost or won.
They did. I don't know.
Napster
It didn't matter.
won.
They lost in
That
the.
would be crazy.
They lost in the grand scheme of things. Either way, right? Because everyone thinks Metallica are douchebags ever since then, right? South Park made an episode mocking them, and like.
Hey, I would pay to have South Park mock me in an episode.
Oh yeah, bro, for sure.
Absolutely.
I know I've made it when South
I
Park
fucking
mocks me.
love South Park.
But, like,
that is the best show ever.
There's
I
that,
have
and
stories
then
about
there's
Trey Parker.
the Arctic
Really?
Monkeys.
He was a regular at bar I worked at for 20 years.
Oh,
which,
really?
Which part was that?
Liquid Kitty.
Liquid Kitty. Yeah. No shit. Tell me some Trey Parker
Hold
stuff.
on.
He's actually a great guy. Very generous, really
Yeah.
sweet. So my stories are all like, wow, this guy's awesome.
This guy's
He's
just
super
a really,
they're-
really
they're
nice
both-
guy.
they're
Were
both
they when he
really
was
cool.
doing like Orgasmo? Was that when he was in LA? I assume because does he live in LA normally? I feel like he doesn't.
he got. Well, he married a friend of mine. They live in New York now.
Right.
No shit. That's
And
cool.
Did you ever see Basketball?
I did.
That
Baseball's
movie is
awesome.
genuinely one
It's
of the
fun.
funnier movies. Like
That's a
it's
hilarious.
by the guy who did
Well-
Airplane and Naked Gun,
Well,
and it's so fucking.
Book of
funny.
Mormon is one of the
Book of Mormon's
funniest fucking
amazing.
plays you'll ever see.
Amazing. Yeah.
It's
I actually
irreverent
I've never
and-
seen it.
I was in Vegas when that was happening. When it came out, I was like 18 or something.
Speaking of music, the music in it is
The music's great.
fantastic. Like they got nominated for all kinds of what's a Broadway award?
Tony's.
Tony's.
But they couldn't perform the songs at the Tony ceremonies
Tony's,
because they all fucking swear.
Yeah.
Fuck this, fuck
Yep.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, I was in
Oh, they
Vegas.
couldn't have Robin Williams sing "Blame Canada."
I was in
They
Vegas.
could, Blame Canada was the only one they could sing.
Yeah.
Really? That
That was the softest of their
I
songs.
saw fucking Spamalot instead of Book of
Spamalot.
Mormon. When
Dude,
Book of Mormon
I was
only
just thinking of
cost like
Spamalot.
$40
Spamalot sucks.
because it was the first run. Spamalot
Sucks.
was
Did it suck?
Pretty goddamn funny.
Dude,
when I
it's
saw
like,
it.
yo, I've seen this movie. Thank you for adding songs I don't care about.
No, it's songs from other movies. It's
Yeah,
just
there's
it's
a
a
couple songs
compilation
from
of Monty Python
Yeah,
sketches.
it's just like, I don't like this jukebox musical thing. It pisses me off. It's like
so
they're
Rock of Ages is not your thing.
Gershwin is rolling over in his fucking grave.
I like what's
You know
the
what I
Green
mean?
Day one?
They did an American Idiot one.
American Idiot.
Like, dude, I don't actually mind the idea. Like, I mean,
Why
I
not?
see how you
They
can go
did
see
Tommy
Mamma Mia and think it's fun.
So this goes back to what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
If they're doing something that's quality and they're having a blast doing it, and they love it,
they're great.
and they have some business
Yeah,
sense to it,
yeah,
Right.
it's going to be successful.
yeah.
Because all you really have to do is make an audience smile and laugh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's not. You don't have to. In fact, I think that a lot of great artists recognize that simplicity and intentionally try to not do much more than that. You know what I mean? Like pop artists, let's say. Like if you're James Cameron, for instance, right, and you're making movies, no one thinks that James Cameron is trying to break your brain with a cool psychedelic surreal vision of dream reality. He's just like, yo,
If he
dude,
is, he's
there's a
famous.
robot trying to kill you. There's a robot trying to kill
There's
that
another,
robot.
director that does that. What's his name?
Yeah.
God, I can't remember his name.
Bergman,
No,
Lynch.
David
well,
Lynch,
David Lynch does it, but
Kubrick,
I'm blanking now.
Lars von Trier.
Just tries to fuck with you. Is it?
Change alters reality.
Who directed Inception? Wasn't that
Inception.
Oh, Nolan.
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 Yeah, Chris
Nolan
He's a great
does it.
director.
Christopher Nolan does that,
But like,
and he's really good at it.
Yeah.
and Nolan's another example
Again,
of
doing
Runner
what,
is
doing what you're
ridiculous.
good at.
and just do it well. Like I think
Mhm.
that one thing that I've learned, and just in my own reflections of my own life, but also just looking at the time, is the internet has enabled a lot of people to be jacks of all trades, which is dope. Don't get me wrong, but I think what people really appreciate on a gut level is mastery.
I tend
You know what I
to
mean?
agree. I tend to agree.
And the
I
only
think being a jack of all trades just makes you like a general Joe.
that's
But
me.
it goes back to what
Yeah.
rises to the top
Yeah.
is someone who's special, who's really good at what they do, and they.
I've had to whittle down the things I do.
Well, that's what's
Right, like-
that's what's crazy about doing something like art or man. Probably if you want to do anything, right? You have to like. How are you supposed to know if you're special or not? Because oftentimes knowing that you're special is going to
Your
make
mom
you.
tells you.
Yeah, your mom needs to validate.
or a
you.
doctor does.
Yeah.
which would be less fortunate.
Less fortunate is a good way to put it.
But if you decide to go do something like music or acting or writing or whatever it is,
right?
Being that we're three artistically minded people, probably autistically minded, like whichever.
You got there before me.
Yeah, exactly.
I have very high percentages of Neanderthal DNA. I'll say it.
But if you're
wear it well,
just say
whatever that means.
But deciding, like I remember when I was I went to school for neuroscience stuff and philosophy stuff, and then towards the end I'm like, I hate the academic setting sucks. It's just stifling. I mean, I could do it if I had to, but
where did you study?
Michigan State.
That's where we met.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
And it was great. A lot of good stuff.
Honestly, for neuroscience, that's a pretty good school.
You found it stifling, though, you said.
I didn't
the
find
academic world.
Yeah, the content is great. I have a thirst for knowledge.
What about the philosophy department? Is that are you lumping those together? He is like a double major, basically.
Yeah, so did I. But mine was a little bit more pedestrian.
No, I minored in philosophy. I started majoring in it, but I ended up minoring it.
In order to get a major, you have to write like a huge
dissertation. Dissertation, exactly. Yeah, and also I switched to the science major. Which I suck at science, so
he has a BS degree.
I had to like catch up in all these fucking classes that I just blow at. So I was like, all right, fucking double major then. But like towards the end of that, I'm like, nah, I do want to make a push to play music. That's what I want to do. Like,
yeah.
And thinking of that, you have to, if you're smart enough, you have to realize, you have to know that you're good enough at it. You have to know that you're. One of them's dead.
Yeah, whatever. We'll deal with it.
That's my pacemaker.
You're looking good for that.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of the podcast with Damian.
No, just keep going.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
I'll just be lying here.
That's why we have so many cameras.
I won't start rotting for at least a couple days.
But to dive into what you want to do, if it's something like music or something like that, it's sort of an insane idea in most people's minds.
It's a little bit egomaniacal, too.
Yes, it has to be.
I think you have to have a little bit of an ego to decide I'm going to be an artist and make a living at this.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the difference between artists and stockbrokers is egomania versus megalomania. That's just a joke.
That's actually
that's just a bad
going to
joke.
make me think a little bit.
That was a terrible joke. I apologize for doing
what are these things?
So our neighbor at Harvelles is 4th and Jane.
Right.
And Steve, who owns 4th and Jane, opened a brewery down in El Segundo. So every once in a while he brings us some beers. So I thought I'd bring you guys his beer.
I'd
love that.
Really appreciate that.
This particular one is a pretty mellow blonde ale.
Kolsch, yeah.
I love literally a good blonde is probably my favorite.
I prefer a redhead. As my grandfather used to say, I'll slow down for a brunette, I'll stop for a blonde, but I'll throw it in reverse for a redhead.
Dude.
And he used to say it in Italian. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you moved to LA after DePaul, or you went to New York?
Oh, that's delicious. And I'm not usually a blonde guy.
I grew up in Connecticut. I moved to New York to be a dancer.
Really? What kind of dancer?
Modern.
You do seem nimble on your feet.
Yeah, I'm a trapeze artist to this day.
God damn. What don't you do?
Drugs. So I discovered early on that I wasn't a very good dancer.
Oh, I thought you weren't good at drugs. Sorry, I
was good at drugs. That's what I stopped.
Yeah.
I'm really good at those too. Yeah.
So I went to acting school and then.
Yeah. Where'd you go?
American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Cool.
My acting coach. Yeah, my acting coach was Dwayne Jones from Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, that's crazy. Night of the Living Dead's awesome.
Ben, he played Ben.
Dude,
fuck yeah, that's a good name.
Which one's Ben? Is he the last
He's
guy that gets shot?
Yeah.
Dude, I will say though, of all people you can learn from, right? Like you hear about like, oh my god, this guy learned.
I started with Lawrence Olivier.
Yeah, he started with Kazan. I started with that guy who got shot at the end of that schlock zombie movie.
That was the quintessential zombie movie.
Is the OG. Really?
If you go back and watch it now, he's really good at it.
I mean, I haven't seen it since high school. I will
He's
say that.
really good at it.
I haven't seen that in forever.
It's a good movie. I will say. I was like, even though when I was in high school, I was a little more susceptible to not being able to get over things where I couldn't suspend my disbelief, right? If the effects were bad in high school, it would bug me a lot more than it does now. But even at the time, I was like, this still makes me kind of like uncomfortable. It still made me it was a little tense.
It's an odd movie. It's a good movie.
When it came out, it was the first of its kind.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
it was like genre defining.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
And then
I really enjoy that movie. Yeah.
I honestly don't give it. I've never seen the original Dawn of the Dead. I'll say that.
Dawn of the Dead.
But I don't give a shit about anything else he did. That's the craziest thing.
Romero.
Yeah. All those effects artists went on to just be the best.
Look at some of the stuff that he did that wasn't zombie.
I don't even know it. Yeah.
Oh God, I have to
put you on the spot.
Yeah. But he was actually a decent director, and the history of Night of the Living Dead is interesting because he shot it in black and white because he couldn't afford color.
Yeah, because it's cheap, right?
And he wrote it.
It looks so
that
good in black.
Ben was a zombie at the end, and Ben was like, no, or Dwayne was like, really, you should let him live and have him be murdered by people that think he's a zombie.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And that would be a much more interesting ending. And it's a
the best part.
He didn't.
That's the best part.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the whole moral message of the film.
So that movie came out in the 60s. It was the sexual revolution, the drug revolution. It was Woodstock, and so this movie is a statement on everything that's going on at the time.
Yeah,
and there's a black guy who's the star of the movie.
Right,
he's the hero.
Which
in the 60s,
in that time is different. Yeah,
a black guy who isn't Sidney Poitier starring in a movie then is pretty crazy. Yeah,
and a sci-fi horror movie.
Yeah,
well, which was unheard of at that time.
Well, and that's the funny thing too is black and white as an aesthetic now. It's funny how as technology progresses, people will fetishize things like black and white, or like now there's all these VHS effects people will put on things to make things look shitty. Yeah. Or like Instagram filters literally exist to like mimic old timey photos, right? Like, but that's just because we weren't very good at taking photos that they look that good, right? Now we're way better.
Well, it's a nostalgia thing.
Yeah. That's how a photo looks.
If you talk to
a real photo,
Romero or Sam Fuller, I don't know if you're into him. Yeah. He did this movie called, of course, Shock Corridor.
It's same with
it in an insane asylum, black and white movie.
It's same with music.
All his movies were black and white because he was so poor he couldn't afford.
Yeah, exactly.
But it became so. This goes back.
And he's
to
one of
being
Scorsese's favorite directors.
When we talk about being an artist and doing what you love and making the music you love, and not equivocating to what's going on at the time.
Yeah,
right. Look, I don't have the money to record this on the best equipment.
Yeah,
but I'm going to do what I love, and that I still think that doesn't always do it, but I think it resonates with an audience.
It absolutely does.
I think it does. Talk about rising to the top. It gives you that edge.
Yeah, okay.
I think it also advances you forward.
Well, look again,
because when you work within constraints, it kind of helps you to develop certain skills that you might not have been ready to handle.
Pacemaker again?
Once
there's somebody in the club.
There's somebody in the Harvelles?
No, we have those cameras that go off.
Oh, rings?
It's a Wise, but yeah.
So wait, there's someone in there?
No, it's dust
afraid
going
Google's
by.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
You're pretty
calm for there being someone breaking into your, the place you own.
If a dust ball goes by the camera, it goes off.
Yeah. Well, what's funny too is when you think about it, so the mics we're using now, that is a clone of a U87. It's actually a really nice mic.
I feel special.
Yeah, this is I
got the shittiest mic. That's 100%.
He does have the shittiest mic.
True, yeah.
But it's because
that's Joe Rogan's mic, dude.
This is any podcaster's mic with enough money to afford one. They're not even $400, but I mean, most podcasters doing
a lot of money.
That's what I get per week for unemployment.
Exactly. Yes. Same. And but that one just has the most roll off on the bass frequencies. That's why I give it to you because you have the bassiest, boomiest, loudest voice.
Why? Thank you.
Well, it's a compliment.
I suppose it is.
But if you think about it, all of this shit, like that would have been. I mean, the real version of that is $4,000 now, and it's been about that expensive since it existed. So the value's actually gone down a little.
Well, that's what technology does to everything.
Exactly, right. And so the cool shit that they were doing in professional recording studios, same with recording film and stuff like that. There goes the other one.
That's why we have the other two.
We're down to these ones now. you want to?
It's going to be radio soon.
Yeah, I was going to say pretty soon we're going to lose the visual.
I'll fix them after the intermission.
Are we doing an intermission?
There's an intermission?
He usually does one.
Let's all go to the line.
You said you were writing ukulele music, right, or something?
I am not a musician. I have a horrible voice.
Okay,
wait, but hold on.
So I love to hear your music.
Okay, so if
but
you
I
go
play
to
ukulele.
Okay, so wait, to wrap up the point that I was making, the gear that we have now is way better than they had then, and it's a fraction of the cost, and everybody is still bitching about, oh, I can't do this, I can't. That is what I think separates the, chaff from the
wheat.
There we go. The chaff from the wheat.
Look,
You know what I'm saying?
when I was
People who are willing to do what they want to do on under any circumstances, there's a compulsion. They have to make something.
Right.
So they're going to work with what they fucking
people
got.
will find an excuse.
Yeah. And that passion, you're
to
right.
not do it.
Yes, every excuse. They'll find every
When
excuse.
I have to fight against that impulse
22,
every day.
living in New York
Everybody
City
does.
as an actor.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had all these great ideas to do short films, but it was like prohibitively expensive.
Right.
Just the film
You have
stock
to take a
alone
real
was
risk.
like
Yes.
$20,000.
Mhm.
And that's 25, 30 years ago.
Yep.
If I wanted to make that same short today, I shoot it on my iPhone
That's
and I could edit it, I could put effects on it.
Yeah.
It's going to cost me like $12.
yeah.
So why don't I do it? Because we all find an excuse.
Because we all
not
find an
to.
excuse. Absolutely. Well, and
Park Chan-wook, the guy who made Old Boy,
He's made a lot of
he made a
movies.
movie on.
Park Chan-wook's shit.
Yeah, he's actually one of my favorite directors.
Yeah.
If he made
Fucking
a movie on
Hollywood
an iPhone.
made it and did a shitty job.
No, you
Oh
didn't like
my
Stoker?
No, the Old Boy. Was that?
Oh, the Hollywood remake.
They
but-
remade
So he
Old Boy.
I thought you meant when he went to Hollywood. He
No,
did
no,
one English
No, he's
language
great.
film.
He's great.
No, Stoker was fun.
Stoker
No,
is
Stoker's
one of my
great.
favorite. But anyway, he did an entire movie on an
The
iPhone.
message is
Yeah,
kind of silly,
sure.
but-
It's like called I Fell in Love with an Android.
Well,
or
think
something
about
like
Blair Witch.
that. Right? VHS.
It was exactly a shaky cam, and the thing is, like,
And it was terrifying, by the way.
in music, because I produce it, I can speak to it more than I can with film, but I assume there's analogs with film. There's a shit ton of plugins and analog gear that is designed to replicate
Yes.
the thing that someone farted out by accident 30 years ago. The only reason they did it this way was, it was like you were saying about Romero and the ending of that movie. He didn't write it. His actor was just like,
Right.
no, this would be more interesting. Like, some guy was just like, well, that's the microphone I have, so I stuck it on the kick drum, and now it's a legendary kick drum.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's how it works. Like,
Well, there's definitely recordings, like even Led Zeppelin recordings, where
Mhm.
they recorded in a mansion in the Hollywood Hills, and they recorded the drums in the vestibule or the
and they
foyer,
stick the
Yeah,
mics
yeah.
like
And
way
the-
far away.
and the sound echoed, and they can't recreate it. And
Yep.
They're like, oh my god, that was amazing.
Yeah.
It was just fucking dumb luck.
now it's lost. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, dude,
Some luck.
Man,
And
what
also,
did I
that's an
could-
insane way to record, by the way, by today's standards.
Yeah, but these, Jimmy Page is like going, all right, I think what we're going to
How would
do.
he do that with his hands?
Oh, that's sticking
I don't know what
acid
you're
under your
talking
tongue. I'm sticking
What an
acid
odd
on-
behavior.
I'm
You
sticking
trying to make
acid-
yourself vomit? Like,
I was doing cocaine and sticking acid on
oh, I see. what you're
Yeah,
He was like, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to record in a theater with one mic. And that's like when the levee breaks, I think. It's like one or two mics, and he's just in a huge theater.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well,
is
is
that
that about
even-
bottom?
Yeah.
It's 3 mics. It's Glyn John's method.
right, but this is it was apparently Jimmy Page was like, we're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, yeah, okay.
It's one of the most legendary
It
drum sounds
sounds so amazing. And you can listen to that. There's some Rival Sons song, of course, that rips off Led Zeppelin shockingly, called
Because Led Zeppelin never ripped anybody else out.
oh,
This
I'm
is what
not-
I say every
this is
time.
what
People are like,
he does say that.
people are like, oh, they ripped off Led Zeppelin. I'm like, you realize Led Zeppelin started by ripping off of blues artists.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah, but they
No,
still sounded
they're-
like Led Zeppelin
They're
while they were
great.
doing it.
They're
great,
amazing.
and I love them.
They're amazing.
But
they weren't doing
we
anything
talked
original.
about this earlier. Is that
Until they
all
did.
great artists steal from?
It's
other
derivatives, man. Yeah.
It's impossible not to. Our influences, we're human.
Right.
We as artists sometimes are stuck in a position, whether you're on stage, in front of a camera, or you're behind a drum set or with a bass,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh my god, this reminds me of something I've heard once before, I've seen once before,
100%.
and you're gonna rip it off.
100%.
But it doesn't mean it's a negative connotation.
No, in fact,
It's an homage.
if you're in a scene,
Yeah.
right? Any scene you've ever heard of is people ripping off their friends,
building off of each other,
right? Like,
well, it's you hearing another bassist and going, man, he did that pretty cool. I think I can do that better though. Or I like that technique a lot.
Yes, I'm going to steal that technique.
Exactly.
There's literally there's the story of Jerry Cantrell saw Soundgarden
when people
play.
get sour about that, it cracks me up. Like I can't
those
believe
people don't.
he stole what I was doing. It's like, nah, you're a jealous bitch.
You sell insurance. You did what some other guy sold. How some other guy sold insurance 20 years ago.
What it all comes
Don't
down
tell
to.
me I stole.
To me, what I always go back to whenever people talk about it, especially with music, I'm like, yeah, well, you're playing guitar. Are you the first person to play guitar? You saw someone play guitar and you said, that's badass. I want to do that. And you did it. You stole what he was fucking doing. Or alternatively.
Or you just realized it's awesome.
Exactly.
And you wanted to do it too.
Want to do it.
You didn't steal. It's an homage to what somebody else did.
And there is a fucking difference.
And art is the collective consciousness.
Especially
share,
in comedy.
Like,
I don't know if you're a stand-up comedy fan.
I am.
I'm a huge stand-up comedy fan.
Stealing jokes is different.
Big problem with modern day is stand-up comedy is taking a shit just like pop music, I think. I don't know how you feel about that, but
depends what you're watching, man. I think that's actually kind
there's
of
no Bill Burr is the only one.
What are you talking? Bill Burr. Oh, so you have to watch Mandalorian.
Really?
Oh, that's right. He's in
Bill
it.
Burr,
I forgot he's
Bill
in
Burr
it.
is in Mandalorian.
Bill Burr.
Yeah, he's in
so
Breaking Bad too.
They reached
I
out
know
to
he's in
him.
Breaking Bad. F is for Family is fucking hilarious.
They reached out to him and they picked him to do one episode. And he's so good.
Because it's Jon Favreau.
They brought his character back.
No shit.
And his character is pivotal.
Does it sound like Bill Burr?
It is. It's him.
It's just him playing himself probably.
Because he can't play anybody else.
He's an ex-stormtrooper that's been arrested for going against the Empire.
Badass.
And he is so good because Bill Burr does what he does.
Mandalorian that's not animated, right?
No.
So it's Bill Burr in the show?
Bill Burr.
I can't picture Bill Burr in a fucking Star Wars show.
He is
for the life of
that's
me.
why he's so impressed by
and
it.
he
That's
works
why he's good in it.
Yeah.
because he is just who he is.
Yeah.
He's not doing Star Wars. He's doing Bill Burr.
Those are some of my favorite actors, by the way.
And he's amazing.
All right, that's the most compelling reason you've given me
He's
to
a
watch.
pivotal character in
that is
the series.
Dude, now I have to see it.
I
That's
will watch it
what
just
I
for
like
that.
to call pulling a Jack Nicholson, right? Where Jack Nicholson
Can't be anybody else.
no, he can. That's the
He
thing.
actually can, yeah.
If you watch About Schmidt, for instance, he can.
Well, also Joker.
But if you watch, the Joker's just Jack Nicholson.
It's
The
like
Joker
Jack Nicholson,
is
but
Jack
drunk.
Nicholson as the Joker. It's not the Joker.
He's Jack Nicholson having fun.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
There's a famous quote of an interaction
It's so
between
good though.
between him and
It's like
who played Batman in that? That was
Keaton.
So Keaton. Keaton's like, "What are you doing? I'm
AKA
having a
David
tough
Duarte.
time. Yeah, I'm having a tough time with this role." And Nicholson looks at him and goes, "Play the suit.
Yeah,
It's a cartoon."
yeah.
And so Nicholson's out there doing he's wearing the big lapels.
He's going for it. Yeah. He's just having a ball.
And Keaton's like, "Oh my God, he's right."
Yeah.
Well,
He
dude,
apparently-
that's the thing too. It is like so. My girlfriend had never seen The Shining, so around
Dude,
Halloween.
by the way, I never really liked Blonde.
Oh, I love
This is-
Blonde,
This
and
is
this is a good
delicious.
Blonde. Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers to your
This is
neighbors.
really goddamn good. Yeah.
But like
Out of Steve Lee.
fucking. So I showed her The Shining, and in the scene where he talks to Lloyd, right? This is the first time she's seen the movie, right? She just turns to me and she's like, "He's really fucking good," and she'd never seen Jack Nicholson in a movie before, apparently. Somehow, Jasmine. So
Your girlfriend had never seen Jack Nicholson in a movie?
nope.
How?
I don't.
Jack Nicholson's
She's
in like
Persian, man.
3,000
She knows
movies.
Persian shit. She's never
Persians
seen Star
don't
Wars.
like Jack.
She's never seen Star Wars.
What?
Yeah. She knows Persian stuff. She doesn't know American stuff that well. But so like
My girlfriend's never seen The Godfather though, so
that's difficult to do actually.
That's
if
also
you've ever had
difficult.
cable television.
that's what I'm saying. You can't even avoid it. Like you get the censored
like-
version on TBS or whatever.
But either way, the point being, she's like, "Oh my God, he's so good," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's because he's the Jack, right?" Like, and what I love about him is he's never anyone else except for a couple times where he's just like, "Yeah, fuck you, I can't act, I just don't want to."
So, let's talk about the industry. So, music industry, acting industry. I think this is a parallel between the two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jack is a great actor.
Yeah.
But the industry grabs this great actor and says, this is what people want to see.
Yeah.
So let's market this. And everything you do, you have to do this. And we want to milk this until
Do you know
it
if
doesn't
he was,
make money anymore.
if he was method?
Right.
Like, what's his background before that?
I don't know what his method to get to where he is.
I just wonder how much that would have upset him.
Yeah.
Jack was making money.
Yeah. He didn't seem too pissed about it.
So he did, Dustin Hoffman did The Graduate.
Yeah.
And then he did I'm Walking Here.
Yeah. I'm Walking Here.
And then the industry was like, Dustin Hoffman is the next thing.
Right.
And he was Dustin Hoffman for years.
Yeah.
But he's still a great actor. When he gets a chance to do something great, he does it.
Yeah.
But the industry milked him for everything he could be.
100%.
And so as musicians, that happens to you too. If you get this much popularity,
if you're fortunate,
Jim Morrison, right?
And the industry thinks we can make money off this guy. They just want you to stay in this narrow band and do that, even though you can do all these other things.
This is why I don't know.
This is something that actually hurts us.
I don't know if you're I don't know if you're a Bob Dylan fan.
Yeah. How are you not? My age. How are you not?
A lot of people. So people
I'm
my age.
55 years old.
People my age are like,
because he's the best. Yeah.
Fuck Bob Dylan, and I'm like, you've never heard him. If you think fuck Bob Dylan, if that's your opinion, I don't take you seriously.
Or even if you just start listening to other people cover him and then move on.
But
he changed music.
That's and one of the ways he did it, him and Bowie did it kind of too. Bowie really did it too. Because what I'm saying is the way they did it is the industry made something out of them because they, I'll stick to Bob Dylan because he became so fucking big.
Yes.
And then he just said, nope, Newport Folk Festival, I'm showing up with electronic instruments. Pete's back there trying to, Neil Young for sure. Although Neil Young, in my opinion, is more of just like he's more of
Radiohead.
He just rolls with. He's just like, I'm gonna make the shit I want to make.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan,
because he got so big, he can do it.
Exactly, and Bob Dylan.
You ever hear his Robot Voice album?
Yes, I saw the tour.
Really? You saw the Robot Voice tour?
That's weird.
Yes, in Indianapolis.
How was that?
It wasn't very good.
Yeah, he's made some shit. But Dylan deliberately deals with the fact that the industry is pigeonholing him, right? So at the right point, he says, "Nope, all right, Nashville Skyline, nope, Highway 69."
And it makes the industry go
61, exactly. They fucking hate it, and then the record sells
and then they have to put their nose up his ass.
And now, by the way, a lot of what
that's what's happening now.
A lot of music artists now, in order to stay relevant, because everybody has such a short attention span, partly because, or at least exacerbated by social media, you have pop artists.
Technology.
Yeah, your girlfriend showed me this artist the other day who's this pop artist. She's like, it's a song you would know. I'm like, I don't fucking listen to this music. I deliberately try to tune it out, actually, because it's really annoying. Pop top 40 shit. She goes, no, check out this performance. She gets a dope metal band, and I don't even like metal, just this hard rock and metal band, and does a metal version of her song on MTV Music Awards, or live. It's pre-recorded. I can see that, but either way, this is sweet. So I don't discount songs just because of the way they're written. It's more for the way they're produced that I'm just like the pop production. I'm like, stop trying.
You're getting off track there. You were talking about transformation of artists.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is it's actually sort of a defining principle of a lot of artists right now, where they'll do different versions of their songs.
Like Machine Gun Kelly.
Yes,
became a pop punk
or Lil Wayne did.
Remember he had his rock phase?
Excuse me, yes.
His rock phase when he did Lollipop.
He did a rock album. Yeah. And that's so
he just wanted to hold a guitar.
Well, because again,
did he play it or did he hold it?
He didn't even play it, dude.
He went like this one or two times, yeah.
Dude, well, I know we're getting off topic, but Bruno Mars,
very talented.
Holy shit!
He's one of the most talented people ever.
I did not, because I was like, yeah, Bruno Mars.
And
I've always been a huge fan of him.
And then when on the Grammys, when he did the tribute to Prince, and he played guitar, I was like, holy
dude, did you see his Super Bowl? His Super Bowl performance?
That guy is majorly talented.
He's so good. What pisses me off is that he wastes that talent.
Yeah, what pisses me off is
ripping off retro shit because it makes money.
Well,
now I actually said this, by the way, to his hairdresser by accident, and
to his hairdresser.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to piss off his hairdresser.
I go with Barbara on my corner. And I was lucky enough to see her right before they shut down again.
She's just a friend. And somehow we were talking about music, and I didn't know she was his hairdresser at the time. But apparently that's like what pays her bills. Is she like does that pompadour shit for him? And
I mean that is a hard haircut to maintain.
And it has to maintain it with a hat on.
Well, that's the thing. Now that I have
bandana too, right?
Yeah.
I have the shorter one, so I haven't shaved this in like 2 or 3 weeks. I have to shave it every week now, and I have to get the right product to keep my hair back at the and I shaved
That's
it.
why you should just have long hair.
I cut it because long hair was too much fucking maintenance.
It's too much work. Yeah.
It's way too much work, man. I hate it.
When I cut this, I'm shaving, and I'm never.
During the pandemic, I just let it grow. And
Yeah.
I booked a one.
Do you get a big bushy beard?
It gets really kind of just straight and
Awesome. So you can look like Dostoevsky.
Or Nietzsche.
Letterman.
Oh, dude, you get a Letterman beard?
Yeah, because it's all white.
That guy
That's
is
a Rasputin beard, dude.
That's Rasputin, exactly. That's like dude, you've been living in a hole.
I booked a little role on a stupid Netflix pilot, and I had one line, and they made me shave and cut my hair.
No shit.
It got cut. It got cut.
Got cut. Of course it did.
So I'm Bruno Mars. Basically, I said to this chick, I saw this. There's this live video. You can look it up on YouTube. Just search Bruno Mars smells like Teen Spirit.
That nail stuff smells back.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
You need to smoke more pot so we can get rid of it.
Yeah. So he does this mashup of Billie Jean.
Yeah, that's actually a good solution. Yeah.
He does this mashup of Billie Jean over Smells Like Teen Spirit, and then takes it into Seven Nation Army, and then brings it back to the mashup, and it crushes live. And so there's this video of him playing in Vegas, and it's really good. And I was like, dude, how come this guy can play guitar and play piano and sing the shit out of
He's really talented.
And
really talented.
Why the hell? Why is he wasting his time ripping off the 70s and ripping off the 80s?
So what is your definition of wasting?
Well, okay, hold on.
Once you've had
hold on,
four number one hits, you should
let me interject
do
really quick.
whatever you want to do.
Let me interject really quick.
Let me interject. All right, so I got to keep
hold
my
that
thought.
Yeah, hold that thought. He is a fantastically talented person that doesn't necessarily make him an interesting artist, if that makes sense. He's extremely talented at everything he does, but I don't know if he has much to say.
That's what I'm complaining about.
Much to say, I won't argue with.
Yeah.
But
he could. He could say anything he wants to say.
But is there something wrong with not?
I don't think there is.
And the other thing
I just don't respect
it's just
it
not,
as much.
It's not what I get attracted to.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
But there's no taking away from his talent.
Absolutely.
No, there's not.
And
I don't even like Bruno Mars that much.
You know what? I would rather
I don't either.
I think he's
I was.
You listen to him and you're just like
so.
Even that song Gorilla
I was doing
good.
trapeze up in the valley, and somebody was playing the song.
I was taking an Instagram video on my rings the other day.
South Philly. And a song was playing. I'm like, who is that? And
Which song?
It was Bruno Mars. It was one of his big pop hits.
Yeah.
And I'm not a pop guy. Like, I don't like that stuff.
No,
but I was like,
his hits are good.
Really good.
Some of them are really good.
So
he's got like 6 or 7 pretty good songs.
What our impression of? Sorry,
you're good.
What our impression of what?
If you do it,
what
one
I
more
think
time,
you
should.
should.
Ow!
I'm taking my helmet. What we want to do for ourselves.
Speaking of wearing your helmet, I thought we.
Because I'm
contract.
What we want to do for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
we can't put onto other people.
Yeah.
Bruno Mars has made his mark to do
That's
what
a very
he
good
wants
point.
to do.
Yeah.
I cannot judge him for what his mark is on society because every time I see him in an interview, he seems happy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. He puts out good music.
Yeah.
He's really talented.
But he's not as relevant anymore for a reason, and I think it's because he never said anything.
And that might very well be true.
But he was relevant for hold on. He had a decade.
Think about a band.
That's a lot more than
way more than almost
any. So once you get to that point, the only place there is to go is how do I become U2 or how do I become Paul McCartney? How do I become relevant to people for 40 straight years?
Well,
and the way you do that is you make an emotional statement that connects. Like, dude, Paul McCartney didn't. I'm not saying you have to be political. Yeah. I'm not saying you have to be philosophical. I don't think Paul McCartney is either. But Paul McCartney wrote songs that meant so much to people that people will shell out $500 still to go see him play in a concert.
People shell out thousands of dollars to see Bruno Mars.
But will they in 40 years?
I don't know. Because I don't know what Bruno Mars will be doing. I can't predict.
I hope they will.
But I think Bruno Mars is talented enough to do that. Now
he is the talent.
So in 19
I want to hear it.
From 1990 to 1991.
Okay.
I did.
That's 1 year.
1992.
I'm good at math.
So 1990 to 1992. I did background
Shut up,
work.
this is my podcast.
Nobody's right. I was mistaken. I did background work and 1 line, 2 lines here on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
So I got to work with some really cool artists. I worked with Sting,
You did
Madonna.
what? I'm sorry.
I did background in 1 line, 2 lines here on Saturday Night.
Oh no shit.
What? No shit. Dude.
Yeah, you could still
Background
Google
what?
background
He was
work.
like
I was on Saturday Night Live.
Before they had featured
Sometimes
players,
I
he was like
had
a featured player.
Yeah, I sometimes I had no lines. Sometimes I had 1 line.
Oh, I see.
Sometimes I had a scene with one of the featured artists like Madonna.
That's cool as fuck.
Or the guys from
Man, if you'd
90210.
been there literally 10 years later, you would have been Andy Samberg, basically. That's how
Yeah,
they ended up turning that into a thing.
Except what you
part
would
of
have
the
been
problem
funny.
was I had to be funny.
Andy Samberg.
Part of the problem was I wasn't a writer, so the writers were the one. If you wrote skits, then you progressed.
Yes,
on.
that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
So I worked with a ton of musical artists, like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm not a starstruck kind
Wait,
of
so
guy.
did you know Matt Chamberlain?
No.
He was the drummer for their band.
No, I knew G.E. Smith.
I don't know who that
He
is.
was the guitar player for Hall & Oates.
Oh, Matt Chamberlain was the drummer for Pearl Jam for 5 minutes before.
Hall
he went
Oates
to
I
SNL.
kind of secretly really like.
No, everyone does. They're
Dude, Robert
amazing.
Avalos is so into
They're
them.
so much fun.
They're like super fun.
Yes,
Like,
I don't dig it.
Dude,
I'll listen to Simon and
Rich
Garfunkel.
Girl
Thank
is
you very much.
so fucking good.
So
is that even the name of that song? Rich Girl?
Rich Girl, yeah.
It is, right?
So
I
one
know,
weekend,
well,
you can rely on the old man's mind. Come on.
What's that song? I hate that song.
you're a rich girl.
Is that song? That goofy.
Don't you know? Na, 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 na.
I love that
You can
title.
rely
Garfunkel
on the
Oates.
old. God damn, that's
Garfunkel
a good song.
Oates?
Yeah, you know the comedy duo.
Garfunkel.
That's so
Anyway,
funny.
what were you saying?
Just, yeah. Anyway, what's the Paul McCartney story? So you're on SNL.
So it's we did rehearsals Friday night until like 2 o'clock in the morning, and all the guests were really tired
Yeah,
because the actors get up at 6 a.m.
yeah.
How much cocaine was going?
A lot.
on? Yeah, that's what I hear. Yeah.
Obviously.
But all the artists wanted to
That's
leave,
why
whether they were
Belushi
the
died.
musical artists or the actors that were hosting the show. They wanted to leave at 1. By 2 o'clock, they were dead.
Yeah.
So I'm changing, getting ready to leave, and I'm walking out of the dressing room, and I hear somebody playing piano in Studio 8. So I push the doors open. It's fucking Paul McCartney
Oh,
sitting
God.
at the grand piano
Just
in the
fucking
audience
around.
of Studio 8, just fucking around. Who's in there? One of the stagehands. 2 of the stagehands are sitting on opposite sides of the grand piano, and I push the doors open, and he goes, "What's up, Nate?" And I go, not Nate, he didn't say Nate, but he goes, "What's up?" And I go, I didn't mean to interrupt. He goes, "Come on, sit down." He plays Long and Winding Road and Hey
What
Jude.
the fuck?
And the 3 of us are singing along. And at the end of Hey Jude, he goes, "What time is it?" And I go, it's 2:15. He goes, "Oh, I gotta go. Good night, I'll see you tomorrow."
All right.
And I was like, fucking Paul McCartney just played Long and Winding Road and Hey Jude on
That's
piano.
fucking crazy.
Well, we
That's
sang
amazing.
at the piano
That's
at fucking
amazing.
2 o'clock in the morning in Studio 8.
That's
SNL.
That is awesome, dude.
yeah.
So of all my fucking stories, that's the one like blows my mind.
Dude, well,
Dude, there are
also,
people who still
the
have
people-
never seen Paul McCartney, where it's like their
the
dream
people-
to see him too. That's the
the
thing.
people who, dude, what a lot of people don't get is like at some point, musicians, actors, whatever, the real ones, were just dudes. You know, I mean, really,
Or
Paul
chicks.
McCartney,
Or non-binary. How dare you?
a chick can be a dude
Oh, right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
or not.
I don't mind that.
I don't. Yeah, a little bit of. Come on, fucking pulling a Jim Norton
She's
over here.
really hot and has a cock. I'm okay with that.
I don't care. You do what you want. You
Who
want
am I to judge?
This guy's last night.
If you fooled me enough to get me this far,
I'm not going to stop.
I'm committed to the end of this one.
This
is all right, whatever.
With
There's
no
a thing
context.
called a courtesy reach around.
Yeah, there. You know, it'd be nice, but yeah, like, dude, you know what I'm saying though? Like, they
No.
used to. Paul McCartney at some point was a 16-year-old kid who just happened to be talented as fuck. Got it. Was in the right place at the right time. Knew the right people. Fucking got picked up by some Nazis because Germany made the Beatles famous.
well, that's where they honed their skills, is they got to play every night.
Yeah,
They
they
didn't
got
get
to play
famous
all the
that
time. No. I'm saying they cut their teeth there though.
Yeah.
They cut their teeth. And before Paul McCartney was legendary Sir Paul McCartney, he was just Paul McCartney. Like a lot of these uber talented people, at some point were just a dude, and
Well-
it could have been somebody else, but it wasn't. You know, like so.
And there's
The way they react sometimes is just like, "What's up?" It's like, "What? What do you mean? What's up?"
Well, yeah, that's kind of the part of the story. Is like
Yeah.
he's just a dude that was
Exactly.
like, "Hey, man, I had done a scene with him. We had worked a little bit. He knew who I was,
Mhm.
but he treated me like a guy. Like
Yeah, because
he
he was-
wasn't. He didn't
yeah.
have this ego about him.
Yeah.
Dude, and you know what? That's one thing that I really either respect or hate when I meet people is like, I've met some famous people where I was just like, I cannot believe what an asshole that person is, right? Like I interviewed Modest Yahoo once, right? On the radio. I was on WJEW, the #1 Jewish teen radio station in the world.
Because there's 3 of them.
Yeah, right. I was going to say there's 2. The other one's not as good.
I was more generous.
Yeah. No, there were 0. And then we made one, and then we won it. I technically have a techie award.
What is that?
It's like from Wired Magazine or some shit. For like best religious teen programming. So anyway, I when I was 17, I interviewed Modest Yahoo, and the guy was...
That guy created Yahoo, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, something like that.
With the exclamation point and
The guy
everything.
was a fucking asshole. He was an ass. And I was like...
Maybe he was in a bad mood then.
No, but just thinking about it now, I'm just like, dude, let's say I was a famous musician. I don't... Like...
Your
And
label
I'm
told you
talking
you
to a
have go.
17-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty douchey to be a dick to a
Just be like, dude, this kid is probably having the best day of his life until I ruin it, apparently.
Right.
But then, dude, I've talked to other people. Like, when I met Keanu Reeves, he was just very nice.
Oh my God, that guy is amazing.
He's just super nice.
I think all reports that come back from that guy.
Because he's just
anybody
nice.
who's
He's
met
just
him.
a nice guy.
Yeah.
What kills me about Keanu is that I never respected him as an actor. I still think to this day that he's not a great
He's
actor.
mediocre.
No, he is great when he plays himself.
He's
But
just...
he always plays himself. And
Who cares? But if a movie needs Keanu Reeves, then they need
jobs
Keanu
But
Reeves.
a lot of
because
times
of that.
they hire him because he's Keanu.
Exactly.
And he's not great in it.
Yeah.
But I don't care how...
Dude, his TED...
I will never judge him as an actor because I love him as a person.
That's why he keeps
TED, though. What about his
That's why
TED?
he's...
And he's Bill and Ted is great. But Bill and Ted as a CIA agent, he's not very good. But I will never knock him because I love him. I just think he's a great person.
Yeah, I think...
I also
to
think
his
he's-
core.
Well, that's... I think
he's
that's...
giving, he's loving, he's had a tough life.
That's why
and he's a good guy.
That's why he gets the jobs. I think.
I do think
You know,
that's
I
part
mean, he's not bad.
Also, women
you know?
love him.
He's good looking.
That
well,
helps.
he sells. I mean, he's going to sell tickets.
Exactly.
But he's a good person, and I think
Yeah.
that has gotten him to where he is.
Yeah, I think the stories get out to everybody in the community. I mean, look, there is something to, kind of going back to, how to work and operate in certain industries. It's like sort of related to making something authentic and real and hoping that rises to the top. Like, there's something about when you work with certain people, let's say, I don't know, you guys hired me as a sound guy or whatever the fuck, hired
He's good.
one of our buddies. As
He's
a sound
done
guy.
live sound once for Mechanical Roots tonight.
It was actually
And it
dope.
was rad.
But whatever it is, you hire him as a booker, whatever it is, maybe just contractual thing. Whatever.
Words.
It's gonna make a huge difference if you're just like, man, that dude in an industry
awesome,
an industry full of people who are shit. That dude wasn't just easy to work with; he was fun to work with. Like, it makes a huge.
So
Oh, yeah.
let's make the circle complete.
Yeah.
We started this conversation.
Yeah.
How Jason and I treat Harvelles and treat our bands.
Yeah.
Right.
When you
I'm
work
glad
with
you brought
somebody
back this, actually.
that loves what they do and they treat you well and they're really talented,
Yeah.
you want to work with them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Guys like Keanu, guys like I'm drawing a blank because my
Whatever.
brain's out. When you work with somebody that loves what they do and they treat you well and they're a human being and
I've
they're
heard Vince Vaughn is kind of that.
They're
Everyone
not.
says
They're
Tom
not
Hanks is a
bigger
very
than
nice
their.
guy.
That's who I was thinking. Was Tom.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks is.
They're not bigger than their persona.
Yeah. Totally.
Then they keep working.
Yep.
And you keep working with them.
Yep.
There is some nepotism to this business. Whether you're an artist,
100%.
whether you're a musician or
Oh,
an actor,
of course, dude.
we are going to wind up working with people that are.
But that's
easy
'cause
to
you
work
need
with
a
and
team you
fun
can
to
trust.
work with. And so these guys, Keanu, maybe not the most talented actor in the world, but
Not.
loved by millions.
Yes.
A really nice guy, and
Yeah.
everyone's gonna be like, "Fuck it, I'll work with him."
Also,
Also
reliably,
very
I'd
lucky.
love to be on set with a guy like Keanu. Like,
Tom Hanks is the same.
Right.
Tom
Everyone
Hanks-
says he's very
he
nice.
seems like a pleasure.
The nicest guy.
That he just seems
Hugh
pleasant.
Jackman, too,
Yeah.
is apparently a super nice guy.
I don't know who, but I would say that. And
Yeah.
and I was lucky enough to work with some really cool people on SNL, and I gotta say, McCartney for one of the hugest artists in the world was just a regular guy.
I'm pretty sure the only Beatle who was a dick was Lennon.
Yeah, he got shot.
He got what he was coming to.
I don't think I've heard reports he was just an ass. That's because he was shit-faced all the time.
I've heard he was a dick.
Him and Alice Cooper started the
wasn't a fan
Hollywood
of his
Vampires.
His wife fucked everything up.
Hold on. I actually kind of like Yoko Ono in that, like,
How?
Because he's anti-hero.
Okay.
she does whatever the fuck she wants to do.
There's a really funny meme going around where Yoko Ono plays free live concerts on the streets of New York so people stay inside.
Oh god, yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's
Dude,
Babylon B, I think.
Because she's so terrible, dude. Like
that's fucking Babylon B.
But at
Which,
the
by
same
way,
time,
Babylon
is that what it is?
Babylon B is hilarious. It's the new Onion. It is fucking hilarious.
she is like the epitome of the New York City underground artist cliche, in my opinion.
Cliche.
Yes.
I'm
don't
glad
know-
you ended that with cliche.
Yes. So what that means,
Because otherwise we were going to have an argument.
but what I respect is before that was a cliche, she was still that much of an asshole. So like I respect her in a certain sense. You know what I mean? I get why Lennon was in love with her because she's a singular being without him. Would she have been famous without him? No. Would she have been a crazy motherfucker who's kind of a
Now,
that's like
unique
Fitzgerald
person?
and his wife.
Yes.
I will go with
Yes, very much.
he liked her because she was crazy because
He was crazy.
He's crazy.
I'm my age and the only women I date are insane is because I date insane women.
Yeah. No,
They're more fun.
Me too.
They're more fun until you're like, oh my god, I got beat up again. How much money did I lose on this one? We talked about I own a rental unit. The reason I own a rental unit is because I dated this horrible woman that had 2 children who was drop dead gorgeous. And I bought it for her so she could move in with her kids.
It's a backstory.
Now, in the long run, I suffered for a long time, but I have this rental unit that I make a little bit of money on.
It works out.
But we as men, we are humans, not men. Women do it too.
Men are different from women, though. I mean,
we suffer from the same malaise.
Yes, yeah, sure.
Where we get suckered into something, we do something stupid.
Well, it's the same.
You just get suckered in different ways, but it's the same existential pain.
There's nothing different. It's just the way we go about it is a little bit. The way we manage our misery, the misery we invite into our lives, it's a little different.
Yes.
But this is what really chaps my ass these days.
Yo, man, get this guy some Vaseline for his
I was gonna
ass.
say,
My ass is
there's a lot more.
chapped.
You might need some preparation H, my
What
friend.
have you been doing? What about those ladies with dicks we've
I've
been
never
talking
had a
about?
chat
It's time to go.
Whoa, isn't that, wow.
Look at the time.
How the time flies. But, it's the idea that, like, oh, men and women aren't different, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, they are.
Just look at a female cat versus a male cat.
But we're all human. We're all fundamentally in the same exact existential
They're
position.
all fundamentally
It's just
cats.
we have a slightly different composition and a slightly different outlook as a result from it.
And,
Like,
and
I don't
we as a
understand why it's
society
bad.
like to court this off as groups.
Yes.
Like this is the team I'm on, that's the team I'm on. But we all suffer from the same insecurities and the same fights with the world and with society. And if we can the difference of the sexes is that we cordoned off in those teams.
Yeah.
But we suffer from the same stupid shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the same underlying existential pain.
That's what
Yes.
I'm saying.
Expressed differently.
Yes.
But dude, what I love is, to quote Slavoj Žižek,
Where's my dictionary?
I do not like this new passion for categorization. People like categories.
Oh, absolutely.
And even the people
Absolutely.
right now who are the most vocally against categories are now applying 7 categories to people who previously had 1. Right? Like, and they're telling you categories are evil, but hey, by the way, you're these 7 categories and you can't escape them. And so it's like, humans like order, right? They want order because the world is chaotic and the universe is chaotic, right? So like,
we can start talking about religion.
I'm down.
I'm so down.
I love talking about religion.
So down.
It's the most fun. I will say this. This would usually be when I do an intermission. I don't know if either of you need to pee.
You don't smoke cigarettes.
I don't smoke anything.
So we don't need an intermission. Fuck
Have you ever
you,
tried
man.
crack?
I have.
Yeah, me too. It's awesome.
Here, I'll
Oh,
change
you mean the drug or the
I'll change
ass?
the battery.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've tried the ass a few times.
We'll do an intermission so I can change the battery.
Honestly, not a huge fan.
Well, it depends on whose ass it is.
Yeah, it really does, but like, there's some stuff down there sometimes.
How your love was just a fantasy.
kind of like, man, when you're like, who's surprised? I'm like,
all right, we're recording.
who's surprised that he got? Look, I understand why it's shocking that he got elected, but if you've been paying, if you've had your ear 3 feet away from the ground, our system has been so fucked that was sort of the.
And we're back.
There was an article I read today about.
Are you reintroducing my fucking podcast?
I just thought it would be funny to bring it in that way.
Oh my goodness.
The disrespect.
I just thought it'd be funny.
We were in mid-conversation.
No, and I want to. I think it's interesting, as you were saying about Donald J. Trump.
I wasn't.
Oh.
I wasn't saying anything. I don't even know who that is.
It didn't surprise. Did it really surprise you though?
What?
When he won?
Yes.
Did it surprise you?
Yes, it did.
It surprised me that he won.
But I'm also
proud to say I predicted that he won, although I was wrong this time. I thought he would win this time.
Predicted that he won?
You
can't predict that he won. You could
predict that he would win, and I was correct.
Wow.
I predicted he would win.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
That's fucking asshole.
Actually, I think he wanted a semicolon, not a comma. That would be nice.
Semicolon. That's what she said.
Yo, where's your Oxford comma at, bro?
We were talking about the fucking pandemic and, all of the insanity surrounding it. I think everybody just wants it to be
that's
fun,
actually,
right?
honestly, as a bar owner, what are you willing to say publicly?
Well, look, I'm not going to...
For the record, he showed up in a mask.
He actually did.
That is true.
There are multiple people
it's
who
real.
have been tested.
People are dying. We're at 300,000 deaths.
Who the fuck said it wasn't real? That's what I don't get, though. Doesn't it suck you have to say that? That people will just assume you think it's not real if you say anything?
We live in a time of the internet and technology, and people think that they do research.
Yeah.
And what they do is they hear something, and they Google it.
Right.
And then they find stuff that backs up what
then they read the headline on the Google search, but they don't click on a link.
or they just follow the links that back up what they believe. And they are and they spend hours and hours a day doing it.
Yeah.
So they go, I've done the research.
Yeah.
And in their defense, they've done their kind of research.
What they think is
but that's not really research.
Yeah.
Because until you vet your sources, until you spend hours.
Journalism costs money, though,
but we live in a time when it doesn't.
No, to do it right, it does cost money.
No, you're entirely right. We live in a time when it doesn't. Everybody has a fucking cell phone. All you have to do is take a video.
So going to Prager University or going to OAN,
sure,
which are not verified news sources, is not research. Even if I went to CNN or MSNBC and I said this is my source,
I would push back on that and just say if you just go to PragerU and you don't go to MSNBC as well, then you're making a mistake.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Until you go deeper,
online,
especially online research,
yeah,
you're not getting facts.
Well, you're getting biased.
Well, one thing I'll say too.
So facts have changed since 1999 to today.
Yeah.
What we consider facts are so.
Well, the importance of this sort of has to do with
how do we know what we know?
No, now we're into epistemology.
Just
trying to make it
that was my thesis in college.
Really?
What was the basic?
Really?
What's the basic breakdown of your thesis?
Whether or not we can believe what we perceive. So it was. So I was
reading David Hume a lot.
That's essentially why
Richard Rorty, Wittgenstein.
Wittgenstein, right?
David Dennett. Daniel Dennett.
Daniel Dennett's awesome.
So the shit. Also, that's like what I spent college studying.
Dude, I know a guy who's studying.
My thesis was based in
sensation and perception in psychology is my favorite field.
Exactly. Yeah, so we're copacetic there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
By the way, I know a guy who's studying at Tufts right now for a master's in philosophy, and he thinks Daniel Dennett sucks. And I'm like, why the fuck are you in the program?
I don't know how anyone could think Daniel Dennett sucks.
I mean, you could disagree with him, but you can't.
But it's like, dude, if you study linguistics at MIT and you think Chomsky sucks, why the fuck are you doing what you're doing?
I don't know how you could think Daniel Dennett sucks because his philosophy is based in fiction. So he writes
cognitive science.
But he writes these stories, right?
Right.
That make you go, this could be a science fiction novel, but it brings your thought to what is reality.
Yeah.
Where does your conscience
Because he's affiliated with Hitchens, and
So-
he just thinks it because of the Hitchens-Harris
But
affiliation.
you can't. You have to separate the two because Dennett
I agree.
never ever says this is what's real. Dennett just makes you ask questions about your reality.
Yeah.
How do you say he's bullshit?
I don't understand that.
Because he just makes you
Honestly, with all due respect to the person who's almost certainly not listening anyways, I think they're kind of an idiot. Look, I talked to the guy, I'm like, dude, you're getting a master's in philosophy. This is why philosophy is
a lot of
such
people
a
who
bad
study
way right now.
philosophy are
The worst people.
I studied.
And
I'm a moron.
Yeah.
No, but dude, so like, for instance, I once a
A
guy I
good
met
for
through,
morons to study philosophy. They need answers to their dumb questions.
a wonderful human being I met through this man actually, who I lived with. I was like, yo, is this guy all right? And Ben was like, yeah, he seems like a cool guy.
Seems like.
Yeah, that's. So I don't blame him. I'm not blaming
pretend
him.
to know the guy.
So this guy ended up getting me evicted from our house because he just
I was like,
apparently I didn't know he
he's-
didn't pay rent the entire
I
time.
work with the guy, and
So
I'm like,
wait, you were giving him money to pay?
No, just like we all paid rent separately to the landlord.
severally liable.
Oh.
And after 9 months of him not paying rent, the landlord's evicted us.
Well, that's a young, that's a lesson to learn. One person collects the rent if you live with
And then you
people,
give the
and then you
landlord
send it
money.
to the landlord. Yeah.
My parents were very against that. That's actually what I wanted to do. They were like, "Don't do that." Anyway,
Why?
I have no idea.
Don't hit my mic.
Fuck you.
That's the cheapest mic here, but don't hit it.
But so anyway, this dude almost certainly for one had histrionic personality disorder, right?
Yes, he was definitely
Like-
fucked up.
He was an insane person. He
Which I did not know
studied philosophy.
before I recommended
found
that
out.
you live with him.
But so I found out he studied philosophy for his major.
That would
No,
fuck you up.
He studied, yeah, it would, but he studied English.
No, he studied philosophy.
English lit.
He said he studied philosophy.
His English lit, unless he changed it after I knew him as English.
He may have. Either way, he would always try and talk to me about philosophy, and I'm just a guy who enjoys philosophy and can't help but think about these things. And
Well, you also study film, and I mean actual film.
Well,
just
let's be honest. If you
there's a
study
crossover.
anything,
it's philosophy.
philosophy is the basis.
Exactly.
Right. And I would talk to him and be like, dude, this guy, why the fuck is this moron? How has no one told him he's a moron? And the answer is yes. And that may be the problem with our society is it's like, dude, I don't mind. You should
I
be
know people
accepting
get
of
caught up.
everybody, but like, oh my
Yeah.
God, dude, this guy's a fucking moron and he's wasting thousands upon thousands of dollars studying something that's not even going to get him a job.
You know what? You know what the big problem is a lot of people don't understand that just because they say something and you go, no, you're wrong, it doesn't mean I'm fucking attacking you.
Well, that's the difference between a debate and a dialogue.
I'm just pointing. Like if you say 2 + 2 = 5, I'll be like, no, nope, 4. Here's but it's not me saying you're a fucking moron.
You haven't been paying
not
attention.
what it is. But what I'm saying is confrontation is something that people are particularly ill-equipped. I love that song. People are particularly ill-equipped to deal with confrontation, and also maybe this just runs.
Philosophy helps you deal
Maybe
with
this just
competition,
runs
though,
true
right?
for
We
most
live
people.
in a trophy culture
Yeah, I suppose so.
where
I
everyone
mean-
gets a participation trophy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's-
So no one can-
100%.
no
I
one-
agree with that.
no one can ever be
100%.
wrong. Losers,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look, even Words with Friends, it no longer says you lose.
Really?
It says good game.
Really?
And if you win, it
Oh.
says you win. But if
That
you lose, it
sucks.
says
Really? Are
good
you
game.
fucking
So
serious?
we live in this society where you can't be a loser.
That's ridiculous.
Look,
But there
we-
are losers.
we do lose.
Yeah,
yes.
There are times when it's good to lose.
I've lost
There
so
are-
many times
there
over
are-
the course of my
There are
life.
lessons in losing,
Yeah, it's how you learn.
and we've kind of lost that.
Yeah.
in a sense. And
Why though? Why do you think?
Because that's the politically correct thing. Like you can't make somebody feel bad about
But why is
themselves.
that the case? You know what I mean? Because at a certain point, it was like, look, you better toughen up, otherwise we got to cut you out of the pack. 'Cause we all
I
gotta
think it might
survive
be
here.
that there's a motivation where it's like, well, if you want a society to lose, make losers less anathema, right?
So you're talking about foreign influence? Is it
Not
aliens?
necessarily, or internal.
Is it Russia?
Well, your question is why is that?
Yes.
So why have we as society gone to a place where you can't lose anymore?
Yes.
I don't have an answer for why.
Yeah.
But I have an
Could
answer
be 'cause
for
life is
why
too
it's
easy.
bad.
Yes.
Because I
Yes,
think
what's
we all need to be humble.
Yeah.
We all need to understand that we're not right all the time.
100%.
Look, I fuck up all the time.
Same.
And we need, as individuals, need to own up to the fact that we make mistakes.
100%.
And take responsibility and go, I fucked up, I'm sorry. Let's move on.
Right.
Because
apologies are the hardest fucking things for people to get.
But it's such an easy thing to do.
It's so easy.
Because when you can say, when somebody, like if the three of us are in a business deal and something went wrong.
Down by the docks.
God help your soul.
We're all dead. But if one of us can go, something went wrong, and one of us can go, look, that was my bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's
and
key.
then we can move on.
That's key.
Right.
But it's become increasingly difficult.
And that's why there's so much
people to take
distrust.
responsibility.
Why though?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for that. But the answer for
if you had to guess,
oh,
you've seen more than I've seen.
This man's
because
a
I'm
good
older
interviewer.
than you.
Yes, exactly. And that might be a consequence of who you are, but it's convenient for me to be able to
I
bring
think that people have a
information.
tough time admitting they're wrong because it's just generally difficult to say, I fucked up.
It is. It is. Absolutely.
But when you get a greater, like we were talking about earlier about how I run the club and how Jason and I run the club, the greater picture of it.
Yeah.
We're good to the artists. The
Yeah.
greater picture of life
Right.
is if you can go, hey, this was my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I will be better going forward. Then we as a group can move forward and move beyond.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for all of us to be humble and say, okay, in order for us to get better, we have to admit that somebody has to admit they were wrong about something.
Yeah.
And this is part of the problem with Democrats and Republicans.
Oh,
I am neither. I'm a lefty. I believe in healthcare and free college. But I think the Democrats and Republicans, their problem is they all want credit for what's right, and they all want to blame the other for what's wrong.
They're gangs. They're Crips and the Bloods.
Basically gangs.
They're Crips and the Bloods. I don't even listen to much rap, but one of my favorite things Tupac ever said was
this man's about to quote
talk
Tupac.
about talent.
Tupac is just an actor.
Really fucking talented.
He's an amazingly talented person. He was asked by an interviewer.
I heard his mom was cool.
Yeah, he
You
wrote
would go to the mom.
He wrote a few songs about her, I think. But he was asked by an interviewer, "Are you ever gonna give up gang life?" And that was a problem for him his whole life. And he said, "I'll give up gang life when our politicians give up gang life." And the interviewer's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, you got Democrats and Republicans. How's that so different from the fucking Crips and the Bloods?" And I'm just like, "Oh shit,
dude, when was that? That was that was like
96.
96-ish,
that was
something like that."
That was 27 years or 25 years ago.
Yeah, he called it.
Well, dude,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Dude,
How prolific was Tupac to be able to say that in the 90s?
Are you a Bill Hicks fan?
I like Bill Hicks, yeah.
Dude, if you watch his specials now, you're just like, the fact that this is so relevant now.
And why does it take a comedian?
Yes.
Well, no, I actually
Why
think
does
it usually
artists?
takes a comedian, actually.
I
I think the comedians are always first on the chopping block from authoritarians because in order to be funny, you have to say something that's true.
It takes artists.
And authoritarians are the only people particularly interested in making you believe something that isn't true.
True or outrageous?
I think truth is more important than outrage, right? Because, for instance, I hate the movie Bridesmaids because it's like, okay, you made a chick take a shit in the street. Dope. Like,
I think it's fantastic for making a chick take a shit in a wedding dress.
It's funny in this.
No.
But okay, fine. You could use the worst of Adam Sandler. Also, it's like, dude, just taking a dump isn't funny on its own.
So
you have to create a context. It's the wedding dress that makes it funny.
Dave Chappelle will make a point by saying something that's completely politically incorrect.
Yeah.
And will push the envelope. And if the audience cringes or goes, oh, he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm a comedian.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he will push that envelope.
And he's doing that in order to make a point that's true.
Well, the irony though.
Not always true, because he will make a point that's like politically incorrect to get a rise from the audience.
Yeah.
See, but I do think that for a joke to be funny, don't you think a joke, even if it's outrageous, for a joke to be funny, it still has to be true. If you're going to make a joke about
not necessarily
genitalia, right? That better be a true joke.
Dave Chappelle will say things that are like women don't have women should shut the fuck up.
Okay, but that's irony. That's different. The irony is still elucidating a true point.
He's extracting a reaction from the audience, like, oh fuck, and his attitude is fuck you for not understanding that that's a fucking joke.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, but isn't it true that people should understand
the most recent one he did was with the LGBTQ, the alphabet people.
Yes, and he
that was hilarious.
So many people off.
So funny.
He pissed everybody off.
But Dave Chappelle,
he didn't just piss the liberals off, he pissed the conservatives off too. Because conservatives were like, oh, he's not going after it hard enough. Liberals were like,
how dare you?
Disrespectful.
How dare you?
Exactly.
And Dave Chappelle is the most
understanding,
most giving artist there is. He lives in a small town.
Yeah.
In
Ohio.
Yeah. And that community, if somebody was LGBTQ, whatever letter,
he wouldn't give a fuck.
He would bring them in,
he wouldn't give a fuck.
And he would not.
Oh, he very obviously was.
So he is completely mocking
100%
that idea of political correctness.
And the funny thing is,
preceded the LGBTQ.
The funny thing is,
anagram.
Well, that's a whole other story.
No, but gay people have been around for millions of years.
Hold on.
So you can be accepting of gay people and still criticize the way that
you got presented. Fucking horse.
Let's talk more about music.
No,
I enjoy the philosophy.
I hate music. The funny thing is, the people who are politically correct give rise to someone like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle and like really funny comedians are people who are basically paid to play with the line, right? If there is no line, and if there's not a bunch of people who are getting outraged at this shit, there's nothing for you to push back against. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're actually
Lenny Bruce, George Carlin, all of them. Yeah,
exactly. My favorite comedians are always the ones who are.
What do you think about somebody like Seinfeld?
I think
hilarious.
So Seinfeld is very homogenous.
Wait, did you see his latest special?
But his latest special is about being a dad.
Yeah.
So he covers.
He's always been a line pusher.
He covers all these topics.
Yeah.
But he does it in this generic way.
Yeah.
Yes.
He just breezes over
it. That's genius, though.
Yeah, it is genius.
So, is it genius or is it Seinfeld just being like, how are you so stupid to not understand this?
It's that.
It's like, both. This is so simple.
But he's packaging it in a way.
Have you seen? You know the episode with the cigar store Indian?
Oh God,
that's one of my favorite episodes of Seinfeld.
That show was beyond its time.
Yeah.
Oh, way.
I watch it today. I date younger women. I introduce them to Seinfeld and like, this is amazing.
Blows people.
How many people these days have not, of my generation and younger, have not seen Seinfeld, Frasier, Friends, and shit?
I just showed my girlfriend Frasier, and
Seinfeld,
she's cracking up at it.
In particular, are you a Curb Your Enthusiasm fan?
Yeah.
All that shit.
Seinfeld's better though. Can we agree on that? Some people will say Curb is better.
I think it's different.
It is,
and it's also about
different to me.
It's time and history.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure,
that's why it's particularly different. Yeah.
To me, it's like a sequel to Seinfeld, though. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I mean, Curb is just Larry David being Larry David.
But George Costanza is just Larry
David. Well, Larry David in Curb is a combination of Seinfeld and George Costanza.
Right.
And it's in his raw form.
Yeah, but Curb, I can watch all day. I mean, I can watch Seinfeld all day.
I will say, I wish
crack me up.
I wish Larry
What
David
happens at
played
11 o'clock every night? I put on channel 11 and I watch 2 episodes of Seinfeld.
Nice.
And if I can watch them a second time, I put on channel 5 and I watch the same 2 episodes because they're brilliant.
Yeah, they're so good.
And
Larry
David Curb Enthusiasm is amazing in that same way.
Yeah.
Like his comedy, his style of really okay. He calls out people on their bullshit.
When he looks at him.
And oftentimes, when he calls them out, he's wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a self-effacing part of that where he makes a dick out of himself.
But he's also so right the other half of the time.
Yeah, a lot of times it's just like, that's exactly how I wanted to react to that.
Like, he's wrong when it
comes
out.
We all do it.
Yeah, exactly.
We all go.
But we're not allowed.
I wanted to go, how dare you park in that parking space and cross that
That's one
line.
of the best fucking sketches in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
He calls them out.
Or he's just, and there's things where he's totally wrong. Like, the filtered water thing, we just drink out of the sink. Because I'm not.
LA water's pretty good.
I drink
out of the sink. It's fine, obviously.
After somebody pees in it.
Only, thank you. Yeah.
But then, like, dude, this most recent season especially featured so many funny send-ups of the modern times that, like, very few people can make right now, right? Like, because if you don't already have decades of context for who someone is, there's so much mistrust that, like, whenever new comedians come out mocking this shit, like Ryan Long, right, is getting kind of big on the internet.
Yeah, he got fucked by Facebook the other day.
And he's getting screwed over because, like, people don't know who he is, so they're just going to assume, oh, the worst of him. People know who Larry David is, so Larry David can say things.
Get away with murder.
He can say things that would get people canceled, basically, without getting canceled.
Well, here's something, too, that I think is really fucking... Look, I don't want the whole damn thing to be about, politics and all that, but what is really crazy is...
Talk about music for like an hour.
No, I'm not worried about any of that. There are a couple questions I want to ask.
Percentage-wise.
He has a unique perspective
go for
on all
it.
this shit.
Sorry.
But one of the things that I find really interesting is there's sort of an intolerance to talking to people who don't maybe see the world exactly like you do. And I think that's...
Yeah, I hate those people.
I think it's killing art.
I agree with you.
Look, I don't need to...
But that's a broader
Yeah.
issue. It's not just art. It's politics. It's religion.
It's killing what's real.
When we lose the tolerance to understand what somebody else believes, then we lose everything.
So what's the root cause, though? What's the root?
Well, to me, look, there's a line, right?
I don't know.
There's a line. I'm friends with people I disagree with politically. Friends who are just like,
on all sides.
No, I am totally pro-life and I always vote Republican, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, for sure, But then, there's people who are just like, I always vote Republican, I'm pro-life, and fuck the Jews.
That's
no. That's not diversity of opinion. That's evil.
That's when I cross the line.
Wrong.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've lost our ability to look, people who we disagree with. Are we always going to be best friends with them?
I have friends that I love.
That's what I mean.
That are diametrically opposed.
That's what I'm talking about.
But they're not evil people.
That's
right. That's
so
the key.
When
you voted for one guy, they voted for another guy.
When the left goes, fuck those people.
Yeah, or girl,
or when the right does it. By the way,
it's just as an example. I'm a lefty. But when the left goes, fuck those people, they're deplorables.
Yes.
I go, I have a problem with you.
Yo, that's an issue.
Because we're all in the same...
Anyone who was looking at, maybe I'll vote for these. I'm a deplorable.
We need to understand why they believe what they believe, and we need to bring them into the fold. We need to understand. We need to talk to them.
Sure.
And in order to understand, you have to listen to what they're saying.
Yes.
And if you don't, then you're just making them.
Yes.
Well, you know what I think... If I had to
creating division,
if I had to pick a root cause, I would say it's social media. But I'm not without getting into some sort of.
It's not.
Hold on. Without getting into some sort of social dilemma bullshit, I don't think it's anything about that. I think it's literally just that it used to be you had these key points of social gathering, right? You either you knew people through church or school, or you were a Mason, right? Like you met people.
With him, amazing.
From a structured...
Are you really?
Can I get in? You met people, though, with this sort of kind of...
I've built a couple of walls.
Yeah.
You met people, and you interacted them in a certain context, and you knew them, but you didn't really know that much about them. And I think people are extraordinarily egocentric just in the way we're wired. I don't even mean that as a negative thing, right? And so if you meet someone, and you think, oh, well, they're not an evil person, right? And let's say it's 1890 and you're a shaker, right? You're probably like, dude, they're probably, in their heart, they're down with God in the same way I am. They're cool because they've never done anything that offended me in any minor way, even because I've only experienced them in this very specific context. With social media, especially for the first, 10 years of it, everyone's just sharing everything they think with no filter.
You know what?
And so everyone knows what everyone thinks. And so you can no longer kind of have this egocentric assumption that this person is in line with me on all these things that people used to be able to just, on a subconscious level, just assume everyone agreed with.
I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's that, look, in real life, you want to operate in a way where you're like, all right, mostly conflict averse, right? You're not avoiding it necessarily, but you're doing what you can to avoid the unnecessary conflicts, right? Social media, that's even more dramatized because the algorithms favor people who boost their followings.
I don't even want to get into the algorithm, so I'm talking psychology.
But my point is that psychology informs the algorithms. The algorithms are based on human psychology. The reason that they reward certain behavior is because of the way we're built. So it encourages you to kind of do things that will maximize the people who will follow you and minimize the people who will hate you for what you do. So what that encourages is sort of it bottlenecks people. That the people who are going to succeed, it bottlenecks them into being very middle of the road people who aren't going to say anything particularly interesting, because people who take risks are going to piss somebody off. So,
but I would still say the fundamental problem is the erosion of privacy. You have other different indications of it, right? Like, for instance, things that used to be private about yourself, like who you fucked or who you liked to fuck, or how you felt about your own identity. That used to be a very internal thing.
That's on you.
I agree.
But my point is that
I worked at a bar for 20 years. I'm going to say this on camera. I got laid a lot.
It's good.
And I
working in bars.
I didn't share any of that shit on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram.
That's my point.
And to this day,
and guess what? Post-millennials are getting laid less than any other generation.
And I don't advertise.
But there was a point.
That's my choice.
There was actually a point when social media was created. The algorithms. The reason I brought them up is the algorithms didn't work the way that they do now. There was a point 4 or 5 years ago, or maybe less than that, where they announced, "All right, we're going to be rolling out a new algorithm." Originally, when Facebook and Instagram and such started,
it was all chronological.
It was chronological. Whoever posted the most recent thing, you saw that, and then okay.
And I actually missed that.
Yes, everybody does, because that was way
That was
easier.
when it was fun.
Yeah. Whoever posted.
That was when it was genuine.
But then they started saying, okay, the most popular, the most relevant, what are your interests? We're going to try to match things to your experience. And that fucked it up really bad. And also, what the effect of that was that it encouraged people to behave in ways that would serve the algorithm, basically. In order to maximize engagement,
that's the social dilemma stuff.
Sure, and the Social Dilemma was such a not mind-blowing movie that I'm amazed.
It was for
that movie
people
was
who
about
don't know
a certain
anything.
thing.
It's for ignorant people. If you were already following
I don't know if it's for ignorant
it doesn't
people,
blow your mind.
But
if you didn't follow it, it blows your mind.
It was for people older than me.
It summarizes what I've been studying for the last 5 years.
That movie wasn't necessarily about the internet.
For the record, it's not wrong. What it's saying is correct.
But that movie was.
It's just for people like me. I'm like, I know.
But it was written. It was as a romantic story about the modern time.
I got you. I got what you're saying.
And how this guy fucked up this relationship with this girl, and at the end he's clicking.
Oh no, you're talking about
that's the Social Network.
Social Network.
Social Dilemma is a documentary.
Social Dilemma.
No.
By the way, hold on. I think the Social Network sucks. Do you like the Social Network?
The movie?
Yeah, I think that movie blows.
No, I thought it was a good movie.
David Fincher is so
that
overrated.
was Fincher, right?
No, I like Fincher.
Oh, dude,
Fincher's really good.
He's like
Seven is awesome.
You know what he is? He's the king of. Okay, I like Seven and
not
Zodiac.
your buddy. The movie.
I like.
Would you stop with the goddamn noise?
I like his socks.
You realize we're doing a podcast, right? Connor Spillane, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
don't think anyone can hear it, but the door's creaking.
No one can hear it. Well, I just kind of figured.
There he is.
That's all it is.
That's egomaniac.
Egomaniac.
I figured calling it out would be funnier. I don't know.
My pants or my socks?
The creaking door.
No, you. I brought you some publicity.
No,
now, this is
Fincher's
going to be
good.
He is like
because this podcast is huge.
Okay, as I get older, I appreciate Fight Club more,
podcast.
but at the same time, I still think the Fight Club is a confused movie, and also it makes so many errors, like the shitty CGI.
You want to know why? You want to know why,
Josh?
Because Chuck Palahniuk is a confused writer.
Jim Rules wrote the screenplay.
Fighting words?
Jim Rules wrote the screenplay.
I heard Joe.
Yeah, okay. I don't know him.
And Jim Rules, actually, friend of mine.
Yeah.
I worked.
I insulted your cousin with that.
I worked.
We're now insulting your fucking friends.
I don't take any of that shit personally.
Look up the last name, folks.
Jim Rules was a writer that wrote a lot of adaptations of books.
Yeah.
And I worked with him a lot when I was early on when I moved to LA, and I would read a lot of his scripts as one of the characters. So
yeah.
another guy and I would read characters, we'd do scenes, and so we read from this pilot or this adaptation.
Jim Moole?
Jim Uhls, Uhls, and he's
Jim Uhls.
So he wrote.
It's not Uli?
Uli. He wrote the screenplay for Fight Club, and I read one of the roles.
Which one?
No shit.
Did you get to say Bob has bitch tits?
No, it was the first rule of Fight Club is we don't talk about
Fight Club.
So we're reading this in a workshop. The first rule of Fight Club is we don't talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is we don't. Hey, is that a typo? Just keep reading. Shut up and keep reading.
Shut up and go on. Yeah.
So Jim is a prolific writer, really talented, but almost all of his stuff is adapted from books. So Fight Club.
It is so much easier to adapt.
I don't know about that
work than to write your own, in my opinion.
Vehemently
my own
disagree
screenwriting
on that.
opinion. We'll talk about it in a second.
I was going to say I don't know if I agree with that.
It's so much easier because I can read anyone's shit and just be like, oh, this is how it could be better.
I'm going to
this is what they wanted.
Disagree on that.
Yeah.
You're never.
You guys are screenwriters, so I'm out.
I'm not a screenwriter.
You're writing
you
shit.
Write shit.
I do write shit, but I am not a screenwriter.
That's what a screenwriter
My original
is.
stuff is much more difficult. Is as difficult to write as adapting somebody else's ideas.
Right.
If you're going to try to read a book and then write a screenplay on it, that's a whole different art than writing your own.
I would agree.
It's completely different.
So
but it's more in line with the director mentality.
To say one is easier than the other is there's no comparison.
I could agree with that.
Now, when you put it to film and it's shot, and now you're
I am
talking
speaking
about a
in that
director
context for sure.
and a cast, that's a whole different animal. So both are tough to get onto the screen.
Yeah.
All I know is like whenever I write my own stuff, I get to the point where I'm like halfway through, 2/3 of the way through, and I'm like, oh shit, man, I shouldn't have stopped writing last night.
All right, well, you fucking film
but
people
then,
nerd out. I'm gonna go pee again. Good luck.
But then, like when
I'm gonna have to pee soon.
I'll be right. You can pee whatever you want.
When I'm giving,
I'm gonna pee right here.
It's allowed, man.
There's no carpet under you. Honestly, it'll be fine.
The cats will take care of it.
My pants will be cold on the way home.
Oh, that's a bummer. Yeah, that's true. But so like, then when I've been given someone else's screenplay or someone else, or been told to like adapt a book or a play or whatever, that shit's so much easier because it's like, oh well, the structure's there, but all I have to worry about are the minutia. However, that may be true for me because I do think I think in a more directorial mindset. I think about the aesthetics and the semiotics more than I think about it as a writer. I wouldn't say I'm a pure writer, so that might be one.
Well, so one has
You're an
different
actor.
one has different challenges than the other.
Right.
If you're writing a screenplay based on something that your concept, your idea, it might flow a little easier.
Right.
When you take somebody else's concept, you read a book, and you're trying to get the essence of that book into this visual writing idea, it might be much more difficult to write. It might be easier in the aspect of, oh, I get it. I know what I have to write.
Right.
But I think they're both very hard genres to get.
That's true. Well, and I think that if you're either
To be
way,
successful.
to be good at anything is if you're good at one, you're probably good at the other, I would say. You know what I mean? It's just that one might be more natural to you.
I think Jim, who wrote the screenplay for Fight Club,
Right.
was really good at adapting books. But he's so great at script analysis, at character analysis, at story analysis, that his forte now, what Jim does now for a living, is he's a script doctor for Hollywood. So he gets scripts.
You get a lot of money that way, though.
It's not about we're not talking
I know.
We're not talking about money.
I'm just saying I get why people do it.
What he's really, really good at is we used to call him the professor. So when we would read a script in this group, Jim was the guy that always put his finger on the script and went, "This is where something is off." So
right.
So
I need to meet this guy apparently.
Jim is the mellowest, nicest guy you'll ever meet. But he was able to really pick out points where you went wrong as a film writer, as a screenwriter,
Right.
and said, "Okay, this is where This stuff is extemporaneous. It doesn't make any sense.
Extemporaneous.
It doesn't. You don't need this in the script. Cut it out and move on.
Right.
And so Jim was really, really good at that, and that's why he was really good at taking a book and changing it to a screenplay. That's a whole different art than writing your own screenplay.
Completely different. But that's why I think it's easier, is because you're more of an editor than a writer.
Are you talking in terms of time consumption?
Wow,
or-
you're not only are you an editor, but you're translating
Right.
a book into dialogue and scenes.
Yeah. So
That's really fucking hard.
But it's if I don't know, dude. For me at least, and I assume for him because he does it so easily.
Read A Clockwork Orange, and then try to make that into a screenplay.
Oh, dude, Kubrick though.
It's fucking hard.
See, he is like
it's
the
a different
perfect.
art.
He's the perfect synthesis of both. Because the way he interprets books is it's like half the book and half his own.
Okay, wait. Could this come down
He
to
injects his own
Could this come down
personality
to
into it in a very
workflow?
unique way.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you guys approach writing slightly differently? Like, is there?
When I
think
write
that-
my own thing, I just try to write in long spurts, Jack Kerouac style, because that's how it happens the best for me.
So
That's
it would be easier. So
and long spurts.
Indeed.
the longer the spurts, the better. So it would be easier for you to take something and find flaws in it, improve on them.
Not even find the flaws, find the best parts.
Whereas it would be easier for you to sort of start from scratch. And
For me, they're both.
He's
different.
saying they're equivalent in
I think
difficulty.
they're different art forms.
Oh, I see.
I think that if you're creating your
I agree
own
with that.
screenplay,
Yeah,
and this is my story, I'm going from beginning to end,
yeah,
and this is how I'm going to write it.
yeah.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
It's a different art form to take a book and go, I'm going to make this 600-page book into
a
a 2-hour
120
screenplay.
page. Yeah.
Now there's so much cutting and editing and to be true to that story.
Yeah.
I go back to one of my favorite books is A Prayer for Only. John Irving.
Yeah.
Amazing book. From the minute I started reading it to the minute I finished it, I was on the subway. I read it on the subway in New York.
Yeah.
When I finished it, I was on the subway crying
Huh.
at 4 a.m.
Nice. Dude.
I'm gonna get mugged.
Yeah.
Great writer.
I'm
Great writer
sobbing.
from what I've read.
His
about him.
writing is.
I don't know him.
We can
What's
go to
his name is
John Irving.
Irving. Yeah.
So when you watch the adaptation of that on screen, there's no justice for it. It was a terrible movie. It was bad. So adapting
Some books just
somebody's
can't be adapted.
story,
Yeah.
You know,
somebody's story that somebody told,
You know The Watchmen,
the graphic
Oh,
the
novel.
graphic novel and the movie.
I think the movie's better than the novel.
So
the movie, the comic book, or the
okay, so I'm talking about specifically the graphic
The show
novel.
sucks. I've heard. I've
I
never
think the
seen
show was
it.
really good.
I've never seen it, but I've heard.
Why
it
do you
sucks.
say it sucks and you've never seen it?
You're a
Because
lefty,
all I know is
I
people
am
think it
definitely
sucks.
a lefty.
so you would like that show. That show to someone who's not a lefty is just like, oh my god, stop with the fucking.
Yeah.
It's a little social justice.
It is very social.
I'm not even
Yeah.
saying that that's like.
Honestly,
bad
I
thing.
don't
I'm
want
just saying
political
in my
moralizing of any
entertainment.
kind.
It's like that American Horror Story show.
See, I never liked American
Okay,
Horror.
so a season
Yeah, that's
of
because it
that.
blows.
A season of that.
It's
is
like
good.
it's like
It's not
ADD
good.
Sam Raimi.
It's
and
not good,
weird.
but a season of it was really cool. And then they started doing like every other season. I'm just like,
it's also rushed.
I just don't need the SJW shit.
It's also
Like,
TV.
of course it is.
So
But Lynch, the way Lynch handles TV is
Well,
fucking better than anybody.
Okay, well-
but when
Yeah, that's true.
But how long does it get renewed?
Not often.
Well, it takes
So
him
now-
15 years.
Ryan
to
Murphy
get-
gets about
So
7
we're,
shows a
we're,
day.
we're talking about the medium.
All right, but good things take time.
But we're talking about the medium to make money in a medium to have long lasting effect in a medium. You kind of have to acquiesce to the medium.
100%.
But here's the
I
thing.
agree.
The reason I would still rather pursue the path of David Lynch, not just on a personal, emotional level or whatever, but just on a actual like professional economic level, is because he made, for instance, are you familiar with the film Mulholland Driveway? I've seen?
Yeah.
It's like literally one of my 3 favorite movies. It was a pilot for a TV show, as I'm sure you know. And the ABC was like,
Yeah, no.
I don't think that. Nope. And so David Lynch sat on it for a year.
With our market audience.
He apparently sat on it for a year. He meditated one day. He was like, "Oh, I have a way to end it." It's like it's maybe the greatest movie that's ever been made, right? So, like, to me, there will always be a market for quality, even if the cynics dominate the market. The market for quality is still always there.
I will go back to the beginning of this conversation.
Yeah, I was going to say
that's exactly the whole point, right?
That we if you are true to your art and you love what you do and
Yeah.
you're good at what you do, it's going to make a huge difference in your career. Now, David Lynch, in this particular instance, didn't fare well on TV.
No, he did though. Twin Peaks was a fucking sensation.
Until Twin Peaks, because he was
that was
solid.
the first TV show though,
right? But
and the guy who co-wrote with him did Hill Street Blues.
So he had some TV people that were on his team.
Yeah, so it was like a hit for. It was a hit until it got too weird.
2 years.
Oh yeah, and then it tanked.
By
the way, it starts sucking in the second
seasons.
season.
It
really
starts.
does.
It starts not being a hit
It
halfway
lasted
through the
2
second season. Yeah.
So
and there's a reason. It artistically starts.
Well, you ever seen Dune?
But David Lynch is David Lynch.
Yes,
he is David Lynch because the reason we're talking about him, the reason we're
because he's a singular
conversation
thinker,
is because he's always done what he does.
Right.
Yes.
He's never equivocated about who he is,
yes,
or what his art form is,
right,
or what his message is. He's David Lynch.
Yeah.
And he's David Lynch to this day because of that.
Well, he's one of the last auteurs.
Well,
there's a lot of artists.
Apparently his manager, though,
but he's one of the last really good ones.
Considering that, though, apparently his manager said to him...
Argumentatively,
ABC,
Spike Lee is, too.
I was going to say, unless I'm wrong, Do the Right Thing is an amazing movie.
But Spike has always done Spike.
Spike is Spike.
Okay, that's true.
For sure.
Spike Lee is never equivocated.
By that measure,
for sure.
He's on the same level as John Waters, you know?
John Waters, again, is never equivocated.
John Waters
They found their audience.
But is John Waters my favorite? No. And is Spike Lee my favorite?
Well, but now it might come down to preference.
But that
exactly.
Yeah,
but that's why I still respect them equally.
It doesn't matter because they have. So there's that point of artistic vision,
right?
What they do, what they love, and how much money they make.
Yep.
So you can have a great artistic vision and never make any money, and we would not be talking about them right now.
100%. Yeah.
So all of these guys,
right?
Waters, Lee, Lynch, all these guys have made a mark in what they do, and they've established who they are.
They have a brand,
and they have an audience. Yeah.
Right. Well, and the thing that's funny to me is, considering Lynch's audience, the real mistake with Twin Peaks wasn't that it got too weird. Actually, I think it was just that making it more than a miniseries was stupid.
Yeah, it
because
felt uninspired.
Once you solve the problem of Laura Palmer's death, why do I give a fuck? It's such an incredible symbolic story.
Now we're talking about the industry again.
Right.
The business.
Hey, we're back.
And that's their mistake.
So now the network wants to make more money on this.
But they should just make another Lynch miniseries instead of having him continue Twin Peaks. Yeah,
right.
No, but you're arguing
what I'm
from
saying
an artistic perspective.
The industry wants more money out of this product.
Yeah, of course.
And so that's
it's like the Star Wars franchise. None of those fucking sequels were good.
No, but Mandalorian is amazing.
Mandalorian's good. I haven't seen it.
So Jon Favreau just is the hot hand, huh?
Jon Favreau, I don't know Jon Favreau. I don't know anything about him except that he's got a decent career as an actor and a producer. But he's not somebody I know personally. But you can tell
this dick is broken.
I like swingers.
I've had that. Women have said that to me.
Well, you said you stopped cocaine a while ago.
I did.
I didn't, and sometimes, yeah.
Jon Favreau, you could watch Mandalorian and go, this guy.
Man.
Thanks, buddy.
This guy's a Star Wars fan. This guy loves
for sure
Star Wars. So he's not J.J. Abrams, who was a Star Trek fan and made Star Wars.
Yeah,
he's Jon Favreau.
No, hold on.
Who was a Star Wars fan and created a whole.
I think J.J. Abrams was a Star Wars fan
over Star Trek.
I think because I remember Trekkies being mad that they hired him and he made Star Trek more like Star Wars.
You may be right. He may have been more of a Star Wars.
Because he's like a Spielberg acolyte.
You guys are nerds.
What do you mean, dude?
I'm sorry that I'm in touch with the most relevant medium of art.
All right, here's a question I got. Do you have to pee?
I do.
All right, pee. It'll be good.
Are you guys going to talk about me when I'm gone?
Yes.
Okay.
What are you gonna say?
Only about how you look when you're walking away, though.
He's walking like he has to pee.
When you come back, I'm going to ask you a couple of music questions.
Oh yeah, I'd like to hear those questions.
I don't know what they are. I have to come up with them.
Here's my question.
I said I would have a few. I do want to ask him, well, about the future of music in LA.
One is streaming worth it.
I want to ask him. I want to be like, yeah, we're gonna move out of this city. Do you think the city's dead because he's a lefty?
But I'm a lefty, and I think the city's dead. I don't think that's a reason to think
It's
the
not.
city's
It's not
dead.
a political thing. I've just found that more times than not, people on the left are like, no, this city's not dead. It's like, okay. People on the right are like, no, I'm out. I can't survive this anymore. I'm not on the right, but
Right.
I'm in the middle enough that I'm friends with both.
We are in a unique position compared to most relatively moderate liberals.
I mean, classical liberal for sure. I think. By the way, I think
we're in a
classical
unique
liberalism.
position because we have been very outright and upfront about this is what we believe and we think this is wrong and we think this is right, and you know what? In these times, that's a dangerous thing to do, unfortunately. But I think that because of that, we are in a position where it's like, well, once this pandemic's over, we're gonna have some. There's definitely some animus here, and then there's definitely, I would say, like half the people who are on the fence about us flipped hard against us, but then the other half who are on the fence about us, judging by the insane amount of messages and phone calls I've received this year, just being like, dude, so that shit you were saying about like how this shit's getting crazy.
Yeah.
Shit's getting crazy.
It sort of consolidated things along lines.
And so it's like, dude, okay, so like
Kind of weird.
half my fan base loves me more, but the other half hates me more. I just don't want to deal with that.
Yes.
That sucks.
Yeah.
My whole thing was about bringing people together.
Yeah.
And having that not matter.
Right.
Because I learned a lesson early in my life when I was in college, partying with Republicans.
All right. Let's get the.
As someone who was
whiskey, yeah.
yes, truth.
So bartender me, I think Rob.
I was gonna say, you do the best. You do the best pours. You're also even if I forget to give you my glass, it's like, give me your glass, like.
Keep it coming.
I'll find it.
These motherfuckers at Harvelles,
they pour strong.
even though they own, and could easily just delegate responsibilities to the lowers.
Oh, we're behind the bar.
They're behind the bar all the fucking time. The first time that we went to Harvelles,
Dude, we drank
since
a whole bottle of
the
whiskey.
pandemic, we goddamn did. 4 Roses too.
I'll be honest, that's
Yeah.
not abnormal in this place.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's probably in the way. I don't know.
That's just a good mixing session with Ben, you know? Cheers.
I did.
I gotta say, you guys have a squatty potty.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's all Connor of Karma Vulture. Hashtag Karma Vulture.
Dude, Squatty potty makes shitting fun. I mean, shitting's already pretty
I don't
fun.
need any more fun in shitting. But squatty potty
I'm
does
just
make
saying,
it more fun.
I get excited to use the
Man,
Squatty potty sometimes.
Tinder made shitting fun enough when I was single, you know?
Wow.
What was I saying before that?
I once literally matched the
Did you
chick.
shit on somebody?
No, because
Yes.
her
He got shit on.
dude,
actually.
literally
That's
once there's this
Literally or figuratively?
chick. I hope
her
figuratively,
Tinder
but I'm
bio
not
was-
entirely sure.
you're probably on the toilet right now, and so am I. And I sent her a message being like, yo, I'm literally taking a shit right now. And she was like, yo, that's cool. And then we're on a date
Okay, I got a question. Where
for
did you
a
get that
couple dates.
sweatshirt?
And she had
I
said no.
I
thanks.
teach flying trapeze.
On the pier?
So
on the Santa Monica Pier.
you weren't
Wait,
joking.
where?
So if you walk down the pier, there's the arcade.
We used to
Are
play
you
at
past
Rusty's all the time.
Rusty's?
So past Rusty's, there's the arcade.
Yeah.
And just past the arcade, there's a flying trapeze ring.
Why did Rusty stop doing music?
They didn't.
They
Hey.
did, and they got shut down for the pandemic.
Yes, they actually improved. They built a second floor.
Yep.
Why did they bring us back?
They
We used to play
invested
like
monthly because of the pandemic. They invested in a whole new sound system, a second floor, all new
Well, yeah,
infrastructure.
yeah. Rusty's
You know
actually,
those guys?
I don't know them, but I'm on the pier a lot.
Well, yeah.
And
So you know the word on the pier.
Word on the
Your
boardwalk.
word on the pier is
Word on the boardwalk.
Yeah.
No, Rusty's is still
I fucking
there.
hate this podcasting.
No, they're just
I hope
waiting
they
to reopen.
survive. Okay, good.
Yeah, well, like
They'll make it because they're on the pier.
Okay,
And I feel like
another
Santa
thing.
Monica's going to ensure that those businesses don't get
Another thing,
if any of them.
fucking refocusing for a second.
Shut up.
wow.
I'm just kidding.
All right.
It got
I was just-
hostile in
I was
here.
just like,
Jesus
what's the most
It was
abrasive?
such a good time until
What's
now.
the most abrasive thing you can say? You know.
Shut up is pretty in that tone. Just shut up. So one thing I'll comment on, in particular, Harvelles has been very central to kind of the thing that we've been doing as the absurd. Me and Josh in particular, trying to cultivate a scene, trying to obviously push our band forward, whatever. Harvelles just it again, it was a place that just had all the right ingredients. We ended up, in a symbiotic relationship. That's great. But what's crazy is a lot of the
If
musicians
you want
I've
to build a
talked to,
scene, doing it at a place that treats bands
Not only-
fairly is helpful.
not only that, for years he's been talking about, and we've been talking about, every 30 years there's a music movement or an artistic movement maybe. There's the 60s.
Yeah,
the
it's
90s,
everything. It's film, it's music. Yeah. 30s,
right. And
golden age of Hollywood, and the
look,
golden age of jazz.
there's several notable exceptions. But, that's interesting. So for years he's talking about 2020, that's the thing. And I remember at the end of 2019,
That's true.
a lot of people we play music with were just like, dude, 2020 is going to be the year. It's going to be it. And then we did this West Side Revival thing in February, which we played,
Right.
and it was goddamn jam-packed. It was,
I was behind
so
the bar,
much.
I remember.
Yes, you were. And it was so much fucking fun. And
Over
then
300 people
everyone
showed up
was
to that
just
show.
like, goddamn right. All right, this is going to be awesome. And then boom, we're done.
2020 started with a bang.
It started with a
Well,
goddamn
here's the
bang.
thing, dude. So literally in 2013 or so, I called Ben because we used to talk on the phone all the time. He was in Boulder, I was in Michigan, and we'd just talk about philosophy and whatever. And
Boulder is obviously where you go to think about philosophy.
I smoke pot.
Yeah, I smoked so
Well,
much
do
pot
both,
there.
yeah.
I was there when weed got legalized.
God bless us,
everyone.
everyone.
I have never even been that stoned.
dude, fucking so like, but I was like, hold on, this is really interesting. The golden age of Hollywood is the 30s. Jazz is like the late 20s into the 30s, and then
Post-prohibition.
rock is
Yeah.
yes, and that's the thing. There are certain gateways that help
Can
it
you
fluctuate.
imagine what 2021 is going to be like, or 2022 realistically?
I was going
when,
to say 2022 maybe.
when this is all over.
Well,
Talk
here's the
about a
thing.
renaissance.
Maybe.
It's a man-made,
Cambrian
pandemic,
explosion of
a
fucking
pandemic-made
just
renaissance.
entertainment. Yeah.
about free
Honestly,
love.
the pandemic has brought out some pretty fantastic art.
If that's where we go,
In
by the
music,
way,
at least.
in whenever it is, 2022,
2023,
late 2020, yeah. If that's where we go, fuck, I would love that.
Dude, we're going to be living in.
I would love that.
If it manifests that way,
Yes.
we're going to be living in the most amazing time.
This is already the most amazing time. I mean, this is nothing like this has ever happened.
Well,
And now
for
we're
100
doing it.
years.
Well, but even in 1918,
No, this
They
is an
didn't do this.
authoritarian chess move
They didn't-
beyond what happened then, dude.
without the
Look,
politics, though,
people take
without the
advantage of
politics,
the context.
without the
all
politics.
time.
Do you,
No,
you
no.
don't think people took advantage in 1918?
Of course they did.
They did, but not to
They
the
took
same
advantage-
degree because there wasn't as much
No, they-
incentive to
No,
do
no,
so.
no. They did, but I'm saying the way that it was unveiled in 1918 was a couple of major cities and non-major ones like Seattle, which in 1918 was
not
nothing. It
Yeah,
was
like
a port
maybe
town.
200,000
It
people.
was a fucking port town.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if it was 200,000 in 1918. I would be very surprised. But either way, it's not even a million now, or it's just about a million. 1.2 maybe. It's 2020.
All I
That's
know
100
is that
years
in
later.
1960 it was at about 600,000.
All I'm saying is back then, certain cities did lockdowns for 6 weeks. And then they opened, and then they went, notably, I think Chicago, San Francisco, and
Philadelphia.
Philly. Yeah. they went
I
into
don't know if it was
lockdown
the
for
worst.
another couple weeks, right?
Well, they had a second wave. It was.
Same as now. I
It
mean,
was actually the timing was almost spot on.
sure, but what I'm saying is now
But-
everywhere.
It's almost like this lockdown hasn't helped.
Also, 750,000 people died in that one,
Our population is
and our population is exponentially higher.
exponentially higher.
Yeah,
Yes.
less people.
So what
have
I'm
died.
saying is now the reaction is just like, okay, we're not even listening to our own fucking history. But I digress. Considering I'm not trying to get
But
into
it's a
the
good point.
goddamn
It's a good
pandemic
point.
shit.
You're right.
No, but
You digress, but there's a point
Well,
in there. But let's move on.
Yes, exactly.
No, but hold on,
and I
David.
appreciate that. By the way, he's right.
He's right.
He's right in saying that I had a goddamn good point. And let's move on.
Well, you had
No,
another point.
no.
That's where I wanted to go.
Yes, and what I
What's your
remember.
other point, Forg?
Won't you goddamn let me make it, Loney?
Well, we're doing the last names. now.
Loney, Anastasio. Yeah, we're at that point.
That's it.
You don't want to go to my last name.
Anastasio.
It's too many.
He
fucking
already-
syllables.
he already
many
did that
goddamn
earlier.
syllables.
I'm a guinea.
I nearly hurt myself trying to say
That is a remarkably Italian name.
Very, very.
It is.
guinea.
It is.
So hold on,
very
how
Italian.
good of a cook was your grandmother?
My mom is from Sicily.
Oh.
My dad.
Oh,
was the
you're
cook.
Sicilian.
My dad's from.
So you're
Central
hated
Italy.
by almost everybody.
Yeah, but we'll cut your throat.
Yeah. No, you definitely will.
It doesn't
You're not
matter.
hated by
I don't
me.
care who doesn't like
I
me.
said almost.
We'll kill you.
You're
No, no, no.
basically like
And that's
the
my
creed
mom.
of
Y'all some
Italy.
tough motherfuckers.
My dad is from Sorrento, outside of Naples.
Yeah.
So he's the mellow Italian.
Sicilians are the.
My mom.
Wait,
will
so
kill
did
me.
you know your
Yeah,
grandmother
exactly.
and grandfather?
Well,
and they lived in Sicily?
I knew my Sicilian grandparents. My Napolitan grandparents were dead before I was born.
Did they invent pizza?
That one.
Pizza comes from Naples. That's-
Probably. Yeah. They
that's
probably
why I say
invented
that.
pizza. Okay. Anyway. So. Okay.
I don't
so,
know who invented pizza. But
So
The
here's,
Dukes of
here's,
Naples.
My
here's
mom
one thing
made
I can
good
kind of
pizza.
fuse two threads of conversation.
Your mom made good
I think.
pizza, really?
Jesus Christ,
so
give this
dope.
guy more than 2 glasses of whiskey. You can't shut the hell up. Joke, buddy.
I'll drink 5, bitch.
Oh, good.
Somebody threw that on a gauntlet. Apparently.
So
That was, yeah.
I think a lot of
That was
people that one might have just died.
Yeah, no, it's good,
still
dude.
going. A lot of people don't recognize how fucked a lot of people are right now, and the music industry in particular. Like,
How
okay,
fucked
so
are they?
bands like ours, venues like yours, which is granted also a bar, rely on that live element to be able to not just make money, survive. It's not about making money in particular as much as it is like, this is something we all believe in, this is something we want to do, we need to survive, this is the business model. People pay money to come into the bar, then they buy drinks when they're
They're
here.
paying for an
People-
experience, yeah.
By the way, people pay money to come see us. We get a cut. There we go. That's the fucking
Well-
deal.
Well,
Like,
our business model is
yeah.
we make money on liquor. You guys make money on the door.
Mhm.
We're not a pay-to-play place.
Yes.
You don't pay us any money.
And by the way, our business model
Yeah,
is
because
that we
everyone
keep,
hates the pay to
we
play
keep
places.
people-
That's the thing.
Because for
we keep
bands,
people
it
there
sucks.
drinking.
No, but also fans hate them too.
but
Correct.
You
for
won't
bands,
meet too many people who are like, dude, the whiskey's my favorite bar to go to.
for bands it sucks. But the reason like one of the things when we go on the road, we basically say, look, are we going to have the biggest
Can we
draw?
define pay-to-play?
It means a lot of things, but one sec.
Pay to play
sorry,
means that you
the-
have to pay for the tickets in advance.
Not
Right.
exactly. I mean, that can take a couple of different forms. But my point is, when we go on the road, one of the pitches I give people is like, look, will we bring a shit ton of people? It depends where we are. But the people that we have there will stay and drink, and we've seen it repeatedly.
So
They-
every bar we've
spend
played has told us that our
exponentially
fans
more.
drink more than
Yes.
average.
There's a ratio there. Like,
yeah, yes, there is.
So
We get the drunks.
so in the end,
No, we keep
If
people having fun.
if the bar is packed,
Yes.
the owners don't care whether your ticket is $5 or $10
Yes.
or we're paying you or you're paying them.
Well, that's not where you're making money.
They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
We as Harvelles, we break it down.
Yes.
Why do you
Look.
think they used to just pay bands guarantees?
Well,
Because they used to know there would be a crowd.
right. But that deal is different per band.
Yes.
Right.
At Harvelles, we break it down. We charge at the door.
Yeah.
We give the band 80%.
Yeah.
And you make $1,000 or
Right.
$100. And if you make $100, we're suffering too.
Yes.
So
Everybody is suffering.
We
in that
make
situation.
we make it pretty equal.
Yeah.
Like, look, if you're gonna have a big draw, we're gonna make a ton of money at the bar.
I don't think we've ever hit 1,000.
Count.
But that's because we do a $5 cover. That's
Well,
why.
our
If we did a $10
our,
cover, we would
our
have.
max in the house is 150. So,
I mean, either way, we intentionally keep it cheap.
well, you charge
Because
$5 at the door.
Yeah.
That's
You-
that
the-
was the money that
For
you
the record,
set.
this guy is like at least on 3 or 4 occasions been like, "Yo, man, are you sure you don't want to charge 10? Because you could people will
Okay,
pay 10."
for the record, Damian, I have said that multiple
No,
times as well.
people come partially because it's like
No, man.
we're looking out for
you're
them too.
You're undervaluing yourself, in my opinion.
But there's also an aspect of we're on 4th Street in Santa Monica.
yes, of course.
So people are walking by going, what's going on tonight?
And
And
hey,
it's not about
only-
who's playing.
It's only $5
It's about
to get
it's
in.
$5 and like, oh, I got 5 people, there's 25
Yes.
bucks.
And those people
If
come
they
back.
said 50,
It would be a different.
they
thing.
wouldn't.
Mentally, it doesn't make the same.
Dude.
So
yeah.
but
That's
as
the
a
problem with the
business
whiskey,
model,
exactly.
Yeah.
we are supporting you guys. We want the artists to make money.
Yes.
We want you guys to do well.
Yes.
We're only making our money at the bar.
Yeah. Of course. Well, and our
And we
hope.
recognize that.
Look, for us, if we bring in enough people,
The bar's gonna do fucking
the bar's
great.
going to do well. Also, if this is where when I don't understand why bookers don't coherent nights, because it's like otherwise in LA, there's something to do every single night, except for during
Oh, and all the
fucking- but hold on,
and all the good
Except for-
clubs they do.
but except for during a pandemic, right? But even at a lot of the good clubs, you can go see a night at the Troubadour.
Okay, the Troubadour isn't a good club.
I'm just
though.
saying, a lot of these places,
Troubadour's
bookers
a
don't
joke.
understand sometimes. Like, okay, what we want,
Troubadour's too big for who they are.
yes.
They're a joke,
Well-
dude.
well,
they,
look,
they don't give
look,
a fuck
what
anymore, dude. They're like the whiskey.
I said the second time here. Yeah, all right, podcast is done. We're fucking done with this.
What?
He hit the mic, and I was referring to earlier.
I tried not to.
Yeah, that was hilarious, dude.
So wait, so why does the Troubadour suck? I think the Troubadour is a good.
No. What I'm saying is
Because as many bands that play the rock, there are just as many bands who suck who play there because of some bullshit promoter. And so the Troubadour to me is on the same level
Yes.
as the Viper
So-
Room.
yeah.
and the,
Okay.
and Whiskey
Look,
Go-Go,
hold on. The point that I was
and
trying to
all
make.
those
The point that I was trying to
West
make.
Hollywood
That's
clubs.
something
Yes.
else that we'll have to address. But I want to
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
your
The
point.
point that I was trying to make is basically I don't understand why bookers or owners of clubs or whoever the hell is doing the booking or whatever are like, yeah, we'll just throw these 4 bands on because they purely look at how many people can they bring,
Right.
what's their social
Right.
media numbers, whatever. But what you want to do is in LA in particular, there's so many places to go. You don't want people to show up for your set and then be like, all right, we're going to jet set over here.
Yeah,
You want them to spend the night
Yes.
at your fucking venue
For sure.
and buy 4 or 5 drinks per person.
And
That's
you
what
want
you
them to leave
want.
saying we had a great night at Harvelles.
And from
Yeah, of course.
exactly, and from a band perspective, it's like, okay, so if I could find a venue where we have a good relationship, like Harvelles, for instance, well, then we can work this in our mutual,
So
interest.
So you have to remember from I'm not a musician.
Mhm.
I'm a bar guy.
Hold on. But
You play
if
the
you
ukulele.
go to Rev9
I
Studio,
do.
if you go to Rev9Studios.com
Fucking
You know
Danny.
Danny?
and you look
Yeah,
at the
Danny's
list,
an old friend.
if
I
you
love
look
him.
at the list of
Danny
clients,
Bialystok.
your name is on their client list.
I always call him Bialystocki as well, because fucking producers.
Yes, exactly. Bialystok Blue.
It's
When
Bialystok.
when I
Bialystocki,
met him,
right?
he's like Bialystocki. I'm like,
No,
like
Bialystocki.
Bialystok?
Isn't
No, I
that
love Danny's a good
It's
guy.
Bialystok.
No, I think it's
Yeah.
Bialystocki.
No, that's what we call
Oh,
No, the guy,
Max
Danny,
Bialystok, yes.
Danny's
He's a great
actual
accountant.
last
I've heard.
name is Balastocki, but the producers is Balastocki.
Balastocki.
Bialystocki.
No,
Yeah,
Danny's
Bialystok.
an old-
But
Danny's
if you
old-
go to their
I knew him
website-
when he was
If
21.
you go to their website,
Really?
you are on their
Are you
client
guys
list.
Are you guys still in? No, you're older than him by a little bit.
Oh, way old.
Really?
Yeah.
He's probably like 45.
Danny?
No, he's not that old.
Danny's like fucking 31, 32.
Oh
What?
no.
Danny Bialystocki?
No way, dude.
No fucking way, dude.
When I was bartending,
He looks
at-
like shit.
I God, I hope he's not listening right now.
I'm
I
gonna
was
Danny, I
about
love
to say
you,
you
dude.
should get him on the podcast. That's the funniest
I was talking to him about doing a podcast.
He's doing it. He has
he's
great
mid-30s.
stories. He's the fucking man, dude.
He's not 31.
He's
older.
he's mid 30s tops.
I have
This guy's 30. That's why he's shot.
fucking I've never had anything other than a great time with him.
And
I was really
great
pissed to
guy.
hear
Oh,
when he
he's so
fucking
fun to
closed
drink
down
with,
Rev
dude.
9.
Oh, that bums me
See,
out. He's like
he
becoming an
didn't close
actuary or
down.
something shit.
He sold it or rented it out. Like somebody else is running Rev.
What is it?
Probably
Oh,
Adam.
it's still there.
I would assume it's Adam. Maybe not, but
Really?
But he took a step back.
Yeah, he texted me and he's like, yeah, it's done. I'm like, all right. Yeah.
Now, Danny's an old friend. When he was 21, he
him
was,
and Jason used to
No
play
shit.
together or
well,
something.
Jason, my business partner, Jason,
Yeah.
opened Rev 9 with Danny. They were
Oh,
business
no
partners.
shit.
That's
I didn't-
exactly
that's
okay.
right,
So
okay.
when I was talking to Danny the last time,
Got a lot of Danny's equipment
I
was
mentioned
from Jason.
I was just like, yeah, I was talking to Damian from Harvelles. He's like, yeah, I know Damian. I'm like, no shit. Like,
Yeah, he's like a
we
like
found
a really
mutual-
good friend of mine.
No shit.
Yeah, I love him. I love his girlfriend.
Dude, I think
I'm gonna
I
have
was
to hit him up.
there when they got married. Like
What the fuck is he
two
doing?
people
now?
were there when they got married.
What is he doing now?
I'm almost
I don't-
positive I'm the person who told you that they were shutting down because you were
Yes,
like, hold on,
'cause I
I'm gonna
called
give
him,
this guy a fucking call.
You
Yeah.
told me, and I freaked out, and I called him. He goes, "No, I just turned it over to somebody else."
Oh, okay, good.
I thought. See, I
they
texted
do a
him. I'm
good
like,
job,
dude,
dude.
it's done. You want to?
No, it's still there. It's still there.
they've done so many of our good friends' albums.
So the
They
space
sound
is
so good.
Danny's a great guy. Like I've known him
he's
since-
not
the
just a
man.
great guy. I feel bad that I've never worked with him.
I
because he's such a
hesitate to
great guy.
say that
Especially because we just got linked
I
up with
might
some
have
people
met him
from
when he
Fab
was
Records. He's
21,
gonna
but
be
I might
mad.
have met him when he was 20 because he was coming into my bar drinking.
Where at?
Liquid Kitty.
Oh yeah, Liquid Kitty. Right. Dude, when you describe that bar, you're just like, dude, it was dark. There was no music. It was just like
No,
Was
there's-
it was
there's
were
no
the walls
entertainment.
no
brick?
live music.
There's
Yeah.
no live.
Were the walls brick or stone?
Where was this place?
Wood panel.
Where was this place? Oh, that's
Ooh.
awful.
No, that's awesome.
Spectacular.
That is awful.
The thing is that
It was on
you
Pico and
sh-
Bundy. Between Bundy
Oh,
and Barrington
wow.
and Pico.
No shit.
Yeah, so at the time, a very shitty area.
So the Dave
That's not
Childs
like a super shit.
So-
In 19, what was this, 99?
Liquid Kitty opened in 1996. It was the brainchild of David Childs and Sed Moses.
Yeah.
Sed Moses went on to be the king of downtown. He was $7,000 gold
Man, I
medal
want
for-
to be called the king of downtown. That sounds fucking dope.
But he was
seven
too-
grand still lives.
Right, but he owned like before the pandemic. He owned 15 or 16 bars and
Right.
restaurants downtown.
Yeah.
Pandemic kind of shut everything down.
Yeah.
He was smart enough to sell a bunch, but Dave Childs was his business partner at Liquid Kitty. At Liquid Kitty.
Unbelievable.
So Sed left Liquid Kitty in the late 90s,
Nice.
and Dave continued to operate it. And I
Yeah.
was Dave's manager, bartender.
No shit.
And then I hired Jason, and he and I worked there until we closed in
Out of curiosity, when did you?
2016.
You're originally from Connecticut.
Yes.
Where in
Where at?
Connecticut? Bridgeport?
No. Bridgeport's a shithole.
Yeah.
I know it is.
Bridgeport
That's
is
where
a shithole.
That's where Kev's from.
Yeah.
Hartford.
You're from Hartford.
Hey, did you like
I got-
Brandon
I got,
Shanahan?
I got.
You didn't like him? Were you
I don't
angry
know
when
who
he
that
left?
is.
He's
Oh, he
lead singer
played for
Mormon.
Hartford, but then he was traded to the Wings.
Oh.
Hall of Fame forward. He's currently the
Hockey?
GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yeah.
Well,
I thought you were saying
Whalers,
Shannon Hoon.
Hartford Whalers became
Shannon Hoon's
the,
from Indiana, bitch.
Wait, Hartford Whalers became the Hurricanes.
Yeah, which is retarded, by the way.
Oh man, there goes our YouTube fucking spot.
Bleep me if you got it.
Yeah, I gotta.
We're
now.
gonna cut out the retarded.
You can't say
Yeah,
retarded anymore?
No, I would love to say it. I got permanently banned from Twitter from saying
You're saying
retarded.
retarded, really?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I had gotten a couple temporary
that's-
suspensions before
That's
Okay, look,
another.
for suggesting that Adolf Hitler had some good points.
Look, it's-
I don't think that was that bad. Not really. Not
That's
really,
not-
folks at home. That was a joke. As long as we're getting banned.
Is that a joke worth making?
Was the retarded thing worth doing? No.
I didn't mean it as anything. I just meant it's
I
a
know
very...
Hitler had no good points. That's the joke.
Hold on. All I'm
The-
trying
the
to say is
crazy
that it's
thing
an
is
Dave
unintelligent
Chappelle can
move
get away with
to
that
move a
joke.
hockey team
You and I
south.
cannot get away with
We
that.
can get away with that joke as long as we both know that we're kidding.
You and I can know we're kidding. It's what the audience knows.
Fuck them. They suck. Sorry,
so,
I love
so,
you.
so in order to sell, in order to have an audience,
Don't say retarded.
don't alienate your audience.
All right.
You have to know when. At what
we
point?
learned that lesson.
You have to know what
Look,
point.
I like trains
Somehow.
and I like when they run on time. That's all I'm saying. Okay,
Okay,
that's
Mussolini.
all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Mussolini over here.
That was funny as shit. Though.
Come on, that was not bad.
And I'm Jewish.
No, it's good. I'm a
So we're
guinea.
good?
I'm saying. Sorry.
Yo, you probably hate Mussolini more than I do.
Hey, he made the trains run on time.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying though.
But my point is,
Yeah.
the comedy is in what people understand.
Yes, of
You're
course.
just not allowed to have a good time anymore.
That's
dude.
kind of what I'm getting.
We were in fucking Joshua Tree.
Oh,
And
Nazis
without
have a great time
casting-
going, oh, fucking these Jews.
Their sense of humor is actually Monty Python is funny for making fun of the fact that Germans don't have a sense of humor because they fucking don't.
Heineken did a great ad
By the way,
campaign.
I'm German. My last name is Ford.
And I lived in Germany
I'm
for a
German
while.
too.
Yeah. Oh no shit. Where?
So did my dad.
I was based in Munich. I did theater in Germany for a year.
Really?
I did.
Did you
I
know
flew
Klaus
over to
Kinski?
Cuckoo's Nest.
Ah, yeah.
Did you know Klaus Kinski?
I know who he is, but I didn't work with him.
Bummer. That would have been awesome.
But there's a great Heineken campaign with the comedian.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I don't think so.
I've only seen Daniel Craig and James
Hey,
Bond
the
be
waitress,
like, yo,
I'll be
I
back
drink
next
Heineken.
week. It's totally straight, not funny, but it's like Heineken.
Oh, it's beautiful. It reminds me of like Andy Kaufman
Because stand-up Germans are not stand-up comics.
they're not funny people. Like, I'm German. Okay, again, I'm pretty German.
Funny in
hold on.
what respect?
You don't think Nietzsche was funny?
No, he was remarkably unfunny. He was remarkably bleak. Like, sort of a standout for how bleak he was.
Man, when I read...
Which I can't blame
Beyond
him for
Good and
because his
Evil-
entire life was disease-ridden and sickness-stricken, and, you know, he was a...
Okay, but
And
Kafka's
right now,
funny.
Germany's doing great.
Kafka's funny.
During the
though.
pandemic.
And that's just
We'll
because
see.
Jews are funny.
We'll see, I think.
They're for the most part, the people that live there follow the lockdowns. They're like, look, let's wear
Hold on.
masks.
Well,
let's-
they get
Wait,
compensated
hold on.
better.
That's
than
actually
we
not
do.
true. Germany
it's totally
had a mask mandate, and then they had a spike a month ago.
not their spike was not nearly as bad as the spike we're going through right now.
Yo, our
That's-
spike
that's
is the best.
true, but it
It's
was-
the most
We're
magnificent.
number one.
The stupendous spike.
No. In terms of population percentage, I think it was.
No, it wasn't as bad.
Dude,
The population
there
percentage.
were hundreds
They-
of thousands out of how
I do
many?
not know
10
the
million
answer.
is
We need a
is
fucking
different than hundreds
Jamie
of
from
thousands.
Joe Rogan. Like,
Well,
look that shit up.
We did a
Yeah.
statistician at this point. The
Or an
fact,
some
epidemiologist.
stone
the fact is,
asshole on it.
Germany's doing much better right now than we are.
Maybe. I just know that they.
That point is debatable.
Like, no, all I'm going to say is this. For my own sanity, I've stopped caring.
Okay.
So, to be fair, no,
Let me ask you guys this:
No.
how do you possibly disagree but still sit at the same table as one another?
Because we're
It's
human
mind
beings.
blowing.
Okay,
No.
shut
Don't
up.
give me this is human beings bullshit. You should be trying to kill him, and you should be trying to kill him.
that's apes.
or at least canceling each other forever.
Oh, hush.
Oh, no cancel culture.
But so, like,
Cancel
my
culture.
point is
It's
all I know
horrible.
is that I do know that
Section
a month ago they were
230.
spiking. I don't know how they're doing now because I don't care enough
So
to look that up, to be honest. So I defer to you on that.
Oh God, it's tough. At Liquid Kitty, we had a regular band
There
who
is
played
no God.
Sunday nights. I'm with you there.
Sorry. Yeah.
I'm an atheist.
Hate to burst your bubble, but
Yeah.
that doesn't exist.
But are you an ardent atheist?
All right, hold on.
I'm an understanding atheist.
Thank God, dude.
I don't believe in God, but if you do,
I'm
I
a
respect
sympathetic.
that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Proselytizing atheists
I'm
are
not
just as
gonna.
bad
I'm
as
not gonna say you're
proselytizing
wrong and
Christians.
I'm right because there's no proof for any of
What
that.
what the fuck proof do I have?
Just like shut up.
Other
and
than
don't
thoughts
bother
and like
people.
reasoning.
But that's
Evidence.
not gonna work.
No, it's not going to work.
Those things don't work
It's
in
not
an
going to work.
argument.
The world is 6,000 exact years old.
And dinosaurs marched with the Neanderthals.
And the Lord, what is the Bill Hicks? And the Lord said, "What a big fucking splinter.
What a big fucking lizard."
And
And the people all
oh,
shrieked and fluttered.
Don't pull logic on me.
Sorry, I can't. No, I did not do well in logic, and apparently
Damian,
you did.
do you believe that Bill Hicks is Alex Jones?
Nope.
No.
Have you heard that conspiracy?
Yeah.
People literally believe that Alex
People
Jones
believe
is
the
building.
craziest things, dude. People fucking put on Nikes and sweatpants
Yeah.
and drank poison to get on a Hale-Bopp comet to avoid
Oh yeah,
the
that was.
rapture.
Oh,
That's
right.
a thing.
What the-
That's a
what's
thing
the
that
name
you
of that
remember.
cult?
People
very well.
believe the
That's Haley's
craziest
Comet.
things.
No, but this is this weird cult, right? What were they
Yeah.
called?
I don't know
It
what
was
they're
like
called.
13 people, or four, it wasn't that
It
many.
was
people.
like
No. It
60
was like
people.
60 or 70.
We're not talking Jonestown.
Jonestown.
That's like 120 people.
No, it was
that's
a
just
church.
as bad.
Right,
Yeah,
Dude, these people.
Jonestown is worse, probably.
right. But these are the people who
These
bought
people
Air Jordans.
believe this guy. Yes, they bought Air Jordans.
Yeah.
Believe this guy was going to be their savior. Some dude was going to save them.
It
from,
was something church. It was like One West Church or something. It was something goofy. Like
But there was a man and a woman that were the head of that
Yes.
church,
yeah,
and those two people believed wholeheartedly
yeah.
that this was it. This was what they were going to do.
This is real.
You had to follow us, or we were all going to die.
Yeah.
And so we have to take this poison. We're going to die. And we're going to get on this comet. We're going to be saved from the rapture. These people, those two leaders of that,
Hey, they were lucky. This rapture right now that I'm living through sucks.
because what is Donald Trump?
Preach.
Donald
He's
Trump
apparently the end of the
is
world.
that Donald Trump believes everything that he expounds.
He's a.
I don't think that's true.
I think
I do. I think he's
No,
that.
are you kidding me? When he talks about abortion in the Republican debates in 2016, he's so full of shit. It's remarkable.
Donald Trump will change what he believes.
God loves
what,
every baby.
Donald
It's
Trump
like,
will
dude,
change what he says.
He's probably
in
had 20
mid-sentence.
abortions.
Yes, he will.
But it doesn't mean he doesn't believe what he
But I think I agree, and that's why I think he's a bullshitter, not a
Well,
liar.
okay.
I actually do.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And
And
I
I
agree
he
with
lies
that.
because I think in mid-sentence he will change his opinion.
All right, so let me do something. Let me take it one step further. I think he was a good thing for American culture.
I don't know about that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
no, hold on.
but not because I'm like Trump is the guy.
Maybe
I'm
for
just-
American culture, but not
Okay.
for history.
Okay, but I think for history, because I think American culture is important on the globe, historically, and I think like it's whenever like I'm not like Trump is my guy. That's not ever what I'm fucking saying. But what I'm saying is like we were talking about earlier, there was sort of a buildup to this moment, and it had to happen sort of in like a historically necessary sense. Like it was bound.
I think it was inevitable. Inevitable.
Like you were saying earlier,
Yeah,
like
I
how are
agree with
people
that.
surprised?
I
And
agree
I'm
with
like,
that.
exactly how were people surprised?
That's where
And-
every 30
I-
years thing is very.
And I'm just kind of like, okay, well,
I think
it had to happen
the
though, to
idea
fucking
that everyone's
break it.
heads explodes about Trump
Yes,
when they don't recognize, and I will preface this by saying I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, but when they go Trump took over the Republican Party, no, the Republican Party was on this trajectory,
of course. Yeah.
and he just exemplified.
Well, the Republican Party has been
I actually
spineless
kind
for-
of disagree with that
Yeah.
because there's so many
Where?
Republicans who
Get the fuck off
who
my
are
podcast.
stoked that
Or
this
your
guy
podcast.
just lost. In my opinion,
well, there's a minority of the Republican
I would
Party.
say like 40%.
No, I think it's less than that.
Though the last poll before the election, 96% approval rate among Republicans, and a lot of that is because a lot of Republicans thought if they vote against it,
Let's even
They're gonna get some
go
ramifications.
one step beyond that. The people that voted for Trump, 73 million people.
Yeah.
75 to 80% of those people believe that the election was stolen. It
Yep.
was rigged.
yeah, 100%.
That's
define
40
rigged,
that's
though.
50
That's the
to
issue with that
60
question.
million people.
47.
But define
It's-
rigged.
well, about-
that's
it's about-
arguing whether or not it was rigged.
It's about no.
If you asked me that
Yeah.
question, I would be like, "What do you mean by rigged?"
Josh
But
is-
it doesn't matter.
Josh
Those
is-
people think it was rigged.
Yes.
There's no evidence that the election was rigged.
Well,
I don't think it was rigged in terms of false votes. I think it was rigged in terms of the way that
That
things
more
were
people
framed.
voted for Biden.
Dude, have you read the news for last week? Hunter Biden all of a sudden is a story we can talk about. But
No.
2 months ago it was a story we couldn't talk about at all.
That's a Republican talking point.
No, but that's just what is happening right now.
No,
I'm-
that's what's happening because that's
I'm just
the
noticing
narrative.
it's happening. I'm not
That's
saying
a
it because
narrative.
of
That's been in the
Republicans.
news forever.
You know what's funny?
When you're losing, you
But the
bring up
Washington
stuff.
Post just did a story about it.
Okay,
Right?
you know what's truly
That's
funny
all I'm saying is that things are allowed to be talked
you
about at
guys are
certain points.
both more politically aligned than I am with either of you, right?
That's true. He's to
You're-
the right of me, for sure.
Okay, but that does not mean that I'm to the right.
I
You're
hate,
pretty. This guy is literally. This guy is
I hate
literally.
the Democrats as much as
He is.
No, I'm not
If he
saying
takes
that.
the political compass quiz, he ends up exactly on the center line of the
Just down
y-axis.
towards
And
libertarian.
it's just like way down at libertarian.
Right in the
It's
middle. Well,
hilarious.
because look, I look at everything situationally. I'm very ambivalent about all of it. Yeah, but
I was like, wait, this guy's.
But okay, what's funny though,
That pisses me
what's
off.
funny is knowing what you've said now, which is I'm a lefty, which is what you've said a few times. Knowing what he said, which I always tell him, I'm like, dude, you're a moderate or conservative from the way you talk, because modern times have distorted the spectrum, whatever.
for sure.
But either way, you guys are both
I'm not gonna be
definitely.
defined by
You
that.
guys are both on the left. I think you definitely are.
We self-identify as such for sure.
And you definitely are.
Yeah.
And as someone who's not necessarily, although
You're a moderate.
I'm just kind of hanging out in a territory where I'm friends with literally
You're an
nobody.
observer.
I'm more of
He's friends
an
with nobody.
agitator, I
I'm friends
think.
with
You know,
everybody.
just-
That's the difference.
I can make people on the left and right angry. It's a
Yo,
special
me
talent.
too, dude.
You know? But you are definitely to the left of me. What's funny is to
Right.
see you guys disagree about this issue. Why is
What-
that?
Which issue specifically? Restate.
You're talking about sort of why Trump got elected, the way that Trump is. Like you guys sort of disagree.
No,
about
I was
that.
just saying define what you mean by rigged.
Well, that was a different question.
Yeah, that was a different question, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the
Originally-
key to me.
the thing that you guys-
If you asked me what I think about that, I would need to know what you meant by
Okay,
rigged
okay, so-
before I could answer it honestly.
So the reason
You know what I meant?
that
You
you
know what I
guys
mean?
disagree is because when I ask why do you disagree, you go to the rigging thing.
Wait,
Is
what?
that the
What
only
are we?
thing?
What are
Wasn't
we?
that what we were talking
What are
about?
we
guys-
disagreeing?
You guys sort of disagree on.
That's what we were talking about, right?
No, you guys sort of disagree on the role Trump plays. Is Trump like a huge blow to the system? I would guess that you would be more likely to say yes, he is. You would be more likely to say no.
I think he's an example of where the system went.
Yeah,
I think that we,
I agree
as
with
a
that
society,
100%.
created
Yeah.
Trump. I think Trump
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
landed in a time
Yeah.
when it was perfect timing. It's like the movie The Perfect Storm.
He's just good
He-
at predicting the wave
I don't
as
think
it comes.
he's good at predicting the wave. I think he landed in a time.
Okay,
when
so
he-
maybe the disagreement.
I don't
is
think he's
you,
a
you
smart-
think he's an idiot.
I don't. Yes, I don't think
I
he's.
I
think
think
he's
hold
smart.
on, but I think he's an idiot savant. That's what I think. I seriously
That's
do
a
think
huge
that.
difference between an idiot.
There's
No,
a
but
bunch of
I
fucking
think
caveats
there's
happening.
I think that there's about like 5 things that this guy is insanely good at, and then I think the rest of it
That's
he's
enough
so
to make you
he's,
successful.
he's so
I
good
don't-
at those
I don't
5
think-
things that
I-
he sucks at all the
I
rest.
don't think Trump is good at anything.
Okay, you don't think he's good at social media? He had
Yeah, okay, I'll grant you that. He's good at social media.
He's
Okay.
very-
and you don't think that contributed to his election?
Yes,
Okay.
it did.
So that communicates a deeper psychological understanding.
No,
Dude, the guy
those
studied
those
under
are
the guy
mutually
who,
exclusive.
Oh,
He
this-
happens to be good at social media. Doesn't mean he has a deeper understanding of what social media means. You're giving him
No, that's
way
not what I'm saying.
too much
I'm
credit.
saying I think he understands
he doesn't understand.
how to project an image of success. His whole life has been about
his whole life
projecting
has
more
been-
success than he
yes.
actually has.
So his whole life has been about projecting.
He
what
faked it
success
till he
is.
made it till the presidency.
Yes, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, not bad.
But
That's
that
pretty
doesn't-
remarkable.
But that's remarkable. You're giving him credit for having the intelligence for doing it. I don't think he has that.
No,
don't
I'm not
think
giving
that
him
Trump
intelligence. I'm saying he's an idiot savant. I'm saying he's just preternaturally good at a couple things that helped him out, and the rest of the things he sucks at. And I think that's
Idiot
true.
savant, yeah, okay.
Because the thing is, dude, if this guy was at all smart, or smart, as we like to say, thanks to The Simpsons,
If he were smart,
if he was smart, he would have won this election easily.
if he were smart, there's a difference between pissing on a spark plug and being able to make that spark work for a long time.
Right, sure.
And he's not that
Yeah, I mean, he lost re-election, so.
But he was cheated.
No, but he's the only guy who ever lost re-election, considering a shit ton of metrics.
He was also look
in his own mind. I get why he thinks he's cheated, but what he doesn't seem to understand is that his Twitter account lost him an election.
So, oh God, there's so
That's
much
all
going
that
on.
lost it.
Okay. So if we're getting too bogged down, here's why I like him. Hey, algorithms, that'll be more offensive than the word retarded.
I mean, I will say I'm gonna miss the Trump era because it was insanely fun.
Here's why I like it, because
was it not pretty fun to
whether
live
or
through?
not
Like, I enjoyed the last 4 years.
whether or not you
they were fucking crazy.
There's a level of I enjoyed it and it was not good for our.
Well, it's also
I agree with both those
it
things.
was
but
not
like,
good. It was not good for us as.
but
in some
W.
way-
Bush wasn't good for us, and it wasn't fun.
Look, I see the argument.
Yes,
know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
But fun doesn't matter when it comes to politics. When it comes to policy. When it comes to us as
No, I
living as
100%
When it
agree
comes to
there.
poverty and people suffering, fun doesn't matter anymore.
But would you
doesn't
rather have fun
matter.
if it's gonna suck anyway?
No.
If it's gonna suck anyway, if it's a 100% chance it's gonna suck, wouldn't you rather have fun?
What I want is resistance. What I want is revolt. What I want is Bernie Sanders. What I want is change.
I was, for the record, I was a Bernie Sanders supporter.
I want Russ Feingold. I want Feingold.
Unfortunately, what we're facing, and again, when I go back to what I said earlier, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican.
Okay.
Bernie had no chance because the DNC torpedoed.
Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
fucked him so hard.
Okay, so here's the irony. Is that
we
a lot
got
of
in
people,
trouble because we were such big Bernie bros
the fuck
in
on.
2015.
When a lot of Bernie supporters back in 2016 were like, "Oh my God, this shit was stolen. The DNC pulled some dirty shit."
I agree.
I agree. Okay, and now I'm like,
It's
yeah,
like, duh.
but now when shit's happening to Trump because you don't like him, nothing happened. It's like, no, there's evidence of it, though. There is.
Well, there's a difference between the DNC torpedoing Bernie. The RNC never torpedoed.
It's not about the
Trump.
RNC though. It's the election
That's
commission
true.
and
That's
it's
very true.
independent legislatures from certain states. I mean, in certain cities. Like,
Wait, so wait, are you saying that
Yeah, what are you
Trump
saying?
won this election? Or what are you
I'm
saying?
saying I think there's definitely tomfoolery happening in this election.
I think there's tomfoolery in every election.
I need to question further, like what specifically you're saying.
Oh, no. What
Do
I'm
you
saying.
think Trump won this and lost?
Sorry. No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is a lot of so if you look at demographic voting,
Dude, he
right?
won by a lot.
Hold the fuck on.
Sorry.
What I'm saying is there were a lot of people who went for Sanders in 2016, and then when Sanders got nixed as the nominee, which by the way he did get fucked. It doesn't mean he won, but he did get fucked.
They definitely pulled the rug out.
He got fucked.
Yeah, there's
over.
no argument. Whether or not he would have won the nomination on vote,
That's
sheer
what I'm
votes
saying. But
alone,
either way,
I
we
don't
know there was foul play.
But there was sure
we know there was foul play. Okay,
The DNC did not represent him.
of course. The DNC actually actively argued against him.
Yes, for sure.
Partially because he's not a party guy.
He's an independent.
Here's
that
where I
changed
am.
to Democrat so that he could become president.
So
and the Democrats did not.
So here's what's interesting.
It was a pretty smart move.
Here's why I know
but
that
it didn't work.
a lot of Americans.
It almost did though.
A lot of Americans vote emotionally. They don't vote intellectually necessarily.
Wait, human beings are emotional creatures?
Jesus,
you're talking crazy, man.
Fucking Christ.
That's what happens when you drink a bottle of whiskey.
Oh my God.
Am I
That's
being?
what happens when he drinks.
Am I being a jackass? I didn't realize.
No.
I got a hand pad, so that's a yes.
We can stop soon.
Oh my gosh.
But okay, so a lot of those people, by statistics, who voted for Sanders back then, ended up switching to Trump.
Yes,
a ton of them.
Yes, a lot. There were a lot.
Statistically,
I would
very
say
significant. But why is
60%?
No. The reason why that is.
Turn on that one.
Well, whatever.
No, just press the record button.
I don't think we have much longer left.
Just do it anyway.
I think we're okay.
Listen to me, damn it.
So what I'm saying is, a lot of people sort of voted emotionally and said, "Look, I don't know what the difference is between maybe the left or the right, these two candidates, but what I know is that the system is fucked up. So I'm just going to vote for someone."
That's
who isn't a
outside
part of the system. Exactly. And Trump represented that to a lot of people.
And if the left had nominated Bernie,
Yes.
They would.
Actually, I'll go one step further. If the left had nominated anyone other than Hillary fucking Rodham Clinton,
No, but
I agree with you. Like
by the way, I'm
here's
not
the
on the
other
right.
key.
I'm unregistered. I've been independent my entire
Here's
life.
the other
But
key,
like,
though.
fuck
Trump
that.
was the most liberal nominee as a Republican since Eisenhower, and that's a fucking fact.
All right, let's get off this
Right?
goddamn
No, but
politics.
the guy was a
subject.
Democrat as well.
Connor!
He was a Democrat.
You get the
his
hell
whole
out
life.
of here.
No, but so
I'm
if he was
Come
an
speak into
actual,
a mic.
I don't think he's actually a conservative.
Take Josh.
If he was an actual conservative, he never would have won.
there
Why
it
do you
is.
say that?
Because it's
Trump was a Democrat.
his whole
Yeah,
Yes,
his
of
life,
course, his whole
actually.
life.
He was a Hillary, Bill Clinton.
His
Yeah.
debate tactics. If you watch old Bill Clinton debates, he stole them directly from Bill.
Yeah.
The way he attacks people is straight up Bill
He was-
Clinton with just less
Trump
tact.
was the politician des politicians.
I get why
I
Roger
make
Stone
fun
loved
of
him.
He's the best.
And I tear them down
Mhm.
with nicknames. And he was like the base root of politicians.
Here's why I
hilarious,
don't
too.
hate him as much as most people do, because I
Because
think
he's
he was like a you know the shit women put the face mask, like a face. He pulls all the acne and the dirt and the shit and the pores up to the surface. He just says all the things we're not supposed to say.
Well, see,
Okay,
I
I'll
hate
agree
him
with that.
because,
but I think sometimes you need that.
well, for sure.
We can't.
But I hate him
Does that mean
because-
he's a good guy?
Because of where it came from
Yes.
was narcissistic.
Yeah, of course.
Trump never.
But you tell me
ever-
Hillary and Joe Biden aren't narcissists
So,
too?
so any,
Obama wasn't a narcissist at all.
And Obama
any-
was a
any-
narcissist. Yeah.
any of
All
those,
them,
sure,
all these people.
sure, any of those politicians that made it to where they are have to be narcissistic to a certain
Martin
extent.
O'Malley is a narcissist. If you're running for president, I think you're
You
probably
have to be a narcissist.
Yeah.
But when it stops, when it becomes an issue, is when the government and the benefit of the people in your world are lesser than your issue.
So
That's a problem.
like the lockdown.
So I think
Trump-
though that there's a
Well, that's a
50-50
different-
split there.
there's other issues involved in a lockdown.
yeah,
There's a
yeah.
pandemic
I know.
involved in a lockdown. Trump has always been about Trump first.
Yes.
Trump is always about my brand is first. I'm
course.
making money first. My kids are
course.
first.
Yeah.
Obama at some point.
Except he is one
You
of
don't
the
think
only
Clinton-
politicians in modern
Yes,
history.
they did.
Oh, hold on,
Clinton
hold on,
was
hold on,
always put the
hold on,
country
hold
first.
on, hold on.
I
You
don't know
two,
about that.
you two lefties, let the centrists speak.
You shut
Let me
up,
separate you two.
you Nazi fuck.
My point is, Trump is the only politician
bigot.
in modern history
Yeah, I agree.
who was already rich before he went into the office. He didn't make his money off the office. All these other politicians you're citing made their money on the
That's not
office.
true.
He also
No,
doing
Hoover
it.
is from the 1930s, you dipshit.
So when
No, Clinton was rich because of Whitewater,
the implication of that money,
and
the way they
Reagan was
made
rich.
money, is
By
that
the
they
way.
were self-made. Trump was never self-made.
Okay, but these
Trump-
politicians
Hi.
were. I mean, but
Not all
they
of them.
made it on the government.
Not
That's
all of
not
them.
good.
Not all of them. Sure, that's fine. Trump made money,
Look, if you did good things, I don't mind
Look,
you making money for
Here's
it.
the thing.
and that's what a politician.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask. Okay,
Trump-
let me ask a
And,
question.
and
Trump
that's
was
just a matter of
richer-
perspective.
Trump,
so I get it.
Donald Trump was
Yeah.
richer than any of the three of us together would
Okay.
ever be in our entire
Okay.
lives if we were struck by a fucking.
Okay,
He was
okay,
a-
okay.
but he's
okay.
lost money for sure.
And
Hold on,
he's
hold on,
lost
hold on.
more money than any of us will ever see in
All
our
right.
lifetime.
All right, goddamn it.
But so doesn't
Let me
that
ask-
mean
let me
he's
ask you a
somewhat
quick question.
genuine in why he's
Oh
doing
no,
my
it
God.
makes engine.
All right, I'm about to start screaming.
what
into
is he
this fucking
gaining?
microphone.
What does
Jesus
he have to
fucking
gain?
Christ, shut up. Let me
Is that
ask
a
you
good
something.
question?
If it no, if it comes down to,
Damn, that hurt.
we're
that
gonna
cut me
be.
deep.
I hope so. If it comes down
I'm
to,
trying to listen.
if it's just that's not going to go anywhere. If it comes down to, there is a civil war, something like that.
Jesus Christ.
Was it? No. It's not. It's not that dire. Also, it's not that unrealistic. If it comes down to
It's
something
very
like that,
dire.
would
It
we?
seems dire.
It just
As far
seems
as
like
dire
something that
things
could
go.
happen. Would we be on the same side or no?
Yes. Absolutely.
Would you be on the same side as him or me or both?
All three of us would be on the same side. And here's why I know that. Is because if it ever came to a civil war,
Fucking Mike is right there, buddy.
what it would be between...
You want Michelle, not Mike.
No. The Civil War is not going to be between the right and the left. It's going to be between the center plus someone and the other, right? And right now, I think that the center will ultimately probably end up in a weird way going to the right. And I say that because I can disagree with people from the right without them hating me. Whereas if people are to the left of me, often they fucking hate me if I disagree with them.
Oh my God, there's so many levels here.
But so my point there is, and I think that on a,
I thought this would be a sort of an easier question.
No, but if you just look at if you just look at polls and demographic studies, right? People generally find that you can talk to someone who's to the right of you, who I completely disagree with on a 1,000 things, right? And I would say a larger percentage of them will not yell at me in the middle of the fucking street. Whereas I've been yelled at in the street by so many people to the left of me.
That is systematically not true.
In LA it is. LA is not America.
You live in LA.
It's not America.
You live in a left-wing city.
When I was in Michigan, I pissed off the left and right equally.
Any big city.
What's not true?
That if I disagree with somebody, the left is going to yell at me and the right's going to be like understanding. That's not true.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
The right is going to fucking yell at you just as much as the left is. Anybody who believes in what they believe in is going to yell at you. You're going to find people that are mediocre and be like, oh, okay, let's talk about it.
The worst of both sides are equally bad. I'll say
that. They're bad. That is your fundamental error in that argument.
I'm talking on a percentage basis.
In your personal experience, the left has been more mean to me than the right has been. That's bullshit.
Here's why I say that, is because I think
your
that
personal experience.
Well, it's not just that. It's that it seems to me, it's for sure that, but it also seems to me to be that people have been taught. Look, like one thing that I'll say about half on my dad's side, my family's all Christian, right? I was never raised Christian. I don't give a fuck about any of that, right? And talking to them,
you're a Jew.
Exactly, right. I was raised Jewish.
Wait, so were you raised Jewish or Christian?
I was raised Jewish.
I'm so confused.
I was raised Jewish, but my dad's side is Christian.
Layers, donkey.
Right, like
an onion.
That's why he's so confused.
No, so that's why I always knew there was never one way to believe, right? Like my
Jesus
parents,
the Savior.
My parents have completely different religions.
He was a Jew.
It was far more important to my mom that I be raised a Jew than it was to my dad that I be raised a Christian, right? So I ended up being raised Jewish because my dad didn't give a fuck.
You gotta follow the Jedi.
That's why I'm just a Jedi. That's kind of where I'm at.
It's emblematic of what's in your
heart. I'm one with the Force is with me.
All I'm trying to say is, I never, look, I've been so annoyed by so many proselytizing Christians who've just interrupted meals or conversations of mine.
I was going to say, what
have
about
you found Jesus?
Jews? But then I realized that'd probably be very offensive.
The Hasidic Jews who proselytize annoy the shit out of me.
Anybody who proselytizes.
Atheists who proselytize annoy the fuck out
I'm
of
an
me.
atheist, and I would respect you for believing what you believe.
Right.
As long as you've got good reasons.
So
I don't even care what your reasons are.
Here's what I think.
If you believe, there's so much in this world that I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
That I may be wrong.
Yeah, right.
I believe what I believe, but that's I'm never going to say you're wrong about it.
You leave room
because, God damn it, who the fuck am I?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a drunken bartender.
No,
Who the fuck am I to
very
tell you
good
you're wrong?
So you though,
but I would never tell you you're wrong. I believe what I believe wholeheartedly.
Sure.
I don't eat meat. I don't believe in God.
Yeah.
I think
You
we
don't
need
eat
to be
meat?
good to each other. No, I don't. But I'm never going to tell you you're wrong. I'm never going to tell you to stop eating meat. I'm never going to tell you to stop believing in God. I'm going to go, okay, let's talk about it. Let's have a drink.
Right.
Let's do a shot. I don't care what you believe. I'm going to respect what you believe.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. And we can have a conversation about it. And I'm open to you changing my mind.
Also, what's the issue with us not
Give me
believing
1 second.
the same exact you've been giving me many
so
seconds.
we're gonna
wrap up
he's
soon.
just hit on the point I'm trying to make
off
though.
my shoulder.
He's just
oh my God, there's no fighting here. I'm
You're
gonna grab my helmet, my jacket, and get out of here before
You better
there's a fight.
jet set, my man.
No, but you've just elucidated the point perfectly, which is that where I think the line in the sand will be drawn, if there ever does come, as you're saying, some sort of civil war is between people who respect what other people believe who disagree and
It's
people
a
who
thought
don't.
experiment, what I was saying.
Right? I think
That's
that will.
my second point.
But I think
Yeah.
I think that will ultimately be the line that's drawn is I can agree, I can be friends with you who's a Muslim and you who's a Christian and you who's an atheist and you who is apparently a Scientologist and actually I don't know.
No, I draw the line there. Fuck those
That's
people.
true. I will say that
It's
I've
so
never had a friend with them. But either way,
But I do like Tom Cruise.
He's a great actor, unfortunately.
He's not a great actor. He's a great movie star.
he's a great
yeah,
movie
yeah,
star.
I
exactly.
suppose I agree with
But
that. Yeah.
point is I can, dude, I have friends who believe in astrology, and I think astrology is literally stupid as
Wait.
shit.
You have friends who don't agree with you 100% on everything?
Point is that the line in the sand will be drawn between people who can be friends with people who disagree with them and people who can't.
So here's where I think the line in the
That's why
the
we'll all
line
be
in the
on
sand is
same
going to
side.
be drawn not between what we believe, but what we make. Poor and the rich. That's where the line in the sand is going to be drawn. That's where the Civil War is going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Because
it's true.
because there's going to be people that are poor, that are right-wing Catholics.
Think about how many
and
rich
there's gonna be
people are
that-
socialists, though.
They're the poor and the rich is the delineation.
It's going to be the main line.
A higher
That is
percentage
not-
of rich
it's not
people
gonna
are
be about
socialists
what
than poor people.
what we believe in. It's not about what more people are, or it's going to be. That's the delineation.
Right now it's the elite and the rest of us.
I agree it's
When
more
the-
about that
when-
than anything else.
When the poor are like, I can no longer survive like this.
Yes.
Our trickle down economics is working anymore. That's what I'm gonna fight. I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna overflow the government. I'm gonna kill the people that are the rulers. It's not about what we believe in religion wise. It's about how much money we have in our pockets. It's how we're surviving. That's where the revolution.
Do you not think
comes.
those things inform each other?
I do, but in the end, the people that are poor, whether they're believe in God, or
Well, the
they're
meek shall
atheists,
inherit the earth.
they're gonna fight. That's a trope from religion. That doesn't mean anything.
I know. I was just
What
making
it
a
comes
joke.
down
Dumbass fucking
when it
philosophy.
comes down to is when we're poor, we're gonna revolt.
Right.
When we're poor and you're an atheist, when you're poor and you believe in God, when you're poor and you're a Scientologist, we're gonna fucking. This is over. We can't do this anymore.
Yes.
That's when
Yes,
the
I
revolt
agree.
happens. It's when we have money. It's the haves. and
Okay, so we'll all
have-nots.
be on the same side because we're poor.
Well,
Yes.
that's nice. At least we can-
And you know what? in the scope of the way the world is right now, the three of us are all really poor.
Hey, fucking A.
Honestly, no, I disagree with that in that it just depends how you measure wealth, and when you
Okay,
become a
all right,
musician.
all right, hold on. We
When you-
know you goddamn disagree. I'm trying to wrap it up. Get
You
your
shut up.
fucking hand off my fucking.
Oh my
Get your
God.
fucking hand off my.
There's a
shoulder.
lot of touching going on here.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want that.
It's touching bad.
To some people,
Are you not a
neurotic
fan
and
of Sweet
stupid reasons.
Caroline?
All right, look.
You touching me, you touching you.
We're gonna come up on the wrap up segments because I promise you, it's been longer than you think.
That's because Damian's awesome and we like talking to him. You're the one who enforced me to be on this podcast.
He was like, "Yo, can
I was
can we
literally
do a
like,
three-person
yo, I don't
thing?" And
know.
I'm
I
like,
was.
"Yeah, I
That's
guess."
that is. It's actually
He's gonna
remarkable
bring
how
up
much of a
Texas.
lie that is.
Whatever.
I will say this.
Yes.
I love talking politics, religion. I had a really good time.
I love talking
Philosophy,
about it.
dude.
And
All
I,
right.
I had a great time talking.
I
Few
want
more-
to. I
few more
literally do
questions.
want to talk about epistemology.
Jesus
with you
Christ!
someday.
All right, let's talk about epistemology someday.
Shut up, Ben.
Not today.
Somebody
though.
has to go to the bathroom again?
No,
Actually,
not
I'll
that.
go to the bathroom.
No.
How's that? I'll help you out.
Are you gonna pee?
Yeah.
Okay.
We should have brought
Ben-
fucking bottles.
Or squatty
Honestly,
potties.
at some
It's
point,
not a potty,
the
though.
problem with doing a podcast while
Drinking?
yeah, you gotta piss all the time. No, I did want to ask a couple extra questions. You've been in LA how long? Also, what brought you from New York to LA? Like,
So I lived in New York for 12 years, and there was a point where, as an actor, I felt like doing theater, I was never going to make any money, so I acquiesced and I moved to LA.
Yeah. And you've been in LA how long?
I moved here in 1994, so 26 years.
Okay, so I hear from a lot of people who are in LA they've seen sort of a precipitous decline. Jesus Christ, precipitous decline.
We've had a lot to drink. It's okay.
Yeah. In sort of the music culture around here. I mean, do you feel that or not? Do you see it or not?
Well,
Why?
I think every generation is going to go.
Was there a real scene at some point? You've been here since '94, you said, or
I moved here in October of '94.
'94. Was there ever a time where it was like, holy shit, this is where it's at?
LA has always been
Yeah.
in my opinion,
It's a hub.
in my reference, has been a hub of music.
Yeah.
This is where music is brought into the culture.
Yeah.
Has it waned or grown or waxed? Or
That's what I'm saying. Are we at a low?
I think technology and the ability to put music out there has changed. I
Yeah.
still think LA is the place to be.
Yeah.
For as far as music goes.
Why?
It's the center of culture.
Because
Still.
people still move to LA to make it in the music industry.
Yeah.
So I think this is the hub that people come to make it. Whether I'm not even talking about acting anymore, just specifically music.
Yeah.
This is where people come to do it.
Yeah.
Whether you can make it in Peoria, Illinois, on your podcast and do a huge and get a huge following.
Incidentally, I've been there a few times.
Peoria is
Really?
not bad.
You've
it's
been to
not a bad
Peoria?
place.
I'm
But it's-
from Michigan. It's not that far
It's
away.
Why-
middle, it's
why would you
Middletown,
go there?
USA.
Because you drive through to get to Chicago if you
But
take a certain route.
But I do think that LA is still the place to be if you want to be a musician.
Yeah. If
Now technology has changed us as a world.
yeah.
Whereas an actor or an artist or an influencer, because an influencer is a new thing, you can make
You almost don't have to be somewhere.
you can be anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
But if you want to get to the upper echelon of music,
Yeah.
I think you
You got to be here.
I do. I really do.
They're driving
I think
people
you
out.
got to
though.
split time.
I think you have to be here at some point.
Yeah.
They're-
I think
they're-
splitting, like, dude, so I think about, like, one of my favorite bands is Alden Witches, right? And their singer apparently lives most of the year in a cabin with no internet or phone, right?
You're never going to make any money.
No, that guy does make money, though, because the other 30% of his year, he's in LA and Nashville.
That's where he makes all his money.
Right. So
Yeah,
my
when
point
when
is,
he's where he needs to be.
I think
because
my dream when I came
background-
here was always to make it to a certain point where I could only be here some of the time.
But you
You know what I
realize
mean?
that's been a goal throughout history.
Yeah, you want to have your place where you do
Now,
your shit.
nowadays,
and then your other place to
nowadays,
retreat.
as an artist, you can be somewhere else and make a living. But there have always been actors and artists and painters that have lived in rural places, and this is where they get their inspiration in their life.
Yeah, right.
And they can't deal with the popularity and the fame and the constant in and
Yeah.
out, and they live in small places. And this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. When
Like
your
Dave
art
Chappelle?
is genuine. Yes, Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
When your art is genuine and you do what you love and people get what you want to say,
Yeah.
you can be in Peoria, Illinois,
Doesn't matter where you
or
are.
Davenport, Iowa, or wherever it is.
Well, that's Daniel Romano.
So how do you
He's in
see
Welland,
how do you see
Ontario,
the
right?
as you know somebody who's been here for a while? I mean, how do you see the landscape of LA music changing or developing or whatever over the next?
I go back to where the technology has gone.
Yeah.
I think LA has been a hub for music for 70 years, 60 years.
Yeah.
But technology has changed everything. Where it was the music industry kind of found you, gave you a deal, and you made a little bit of money, and either you made it and they were like, we'll let you go or we're going to keep you on.
Yeah.
LA is still where it's at.
Yeah.
You have to be here to make that imprint.
All these fucking venues are closing now, though.
Well, now with the pandemic, it's totally different.
I think it might have changed the game.
It may have. We'll wait and see what happens in
Yeah.
2021.
But change the game in what
Are
way?
you an LA lifer? Would you go somewhere else?
So
I mean, would you, like in terms of what you want and blah blah blah. would
so
you
that's
go
a
live
that's a
somewhere
very
else,
that's a
or-
very personal thing.
Yeah.
So
You know what I mean?
me as what I want to do with who I am. Like, I want to. I have to explain that I want to write.
Yeah.
I want to do trapeze. I want to do theater. I'm an actor.
You could potentially be somewhere else.
I
like
could
that or no?
be in the Seychelles. I could do.
I don't know. I don't.
Technology has changed all of that. I can do the arts where I want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm tied to Harvelles because
Well, you should,
I'm emotionally attached to it.
yeah, it's great.
I'm financially attached to it. I'm not going anywhere because I've made a commitment to it.
Yeah.
If I were free, would I leave LA? I don't know, because my love at my heart is acting, and that's where I want to do.
Do you blame the people who are leaving? I mean,
No, I don't blame them.
there's a shit ton of, like, me and Josh are both talking about leaving. Like,
I don't. If anybody who leaves, I have mad respect for.
doesn't that goddamn suck though? I mean, this place.
I don't want to leave though because I love this city.
Does it suck?
I mean, maybe that's a dumb question.
It's hard to say. I would never judge somebody for doing what they love,
Sure.
what they love, and what they believe is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So go, and I would, if you came back, I'd be welcome you back.
Yeah.
And if you were successful where you are, I'd welcome your success.
Yeah.
I'm a big advocate for doing what's right for you, because your life is not necessarily all your career.
Yeah.
And you really have to kind of find a balance between what
Yeah,
I love
I agree
and
with that.
what's important to me and what my career is.
Absolutely.
And dude, that's so hard. I have friends that sell insurance for a living. And when they talk to me about
I do love
insurance,
selling insurance.
You just go blind.
I'm done. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
And I
Dude, that
can't
annual
help-
payment.
I
seems
can't help but
awesome.
be judgy about it. Like, you're stupid. But,
Yeah.
but, take that step back and go, this person makes a really good living. They own a great house in LA.
Yeah.
And their profession, in my opinion, is mundane. But
Oh man,
they're
here's
doing
where
great.
here's where I actually
But
agree
that's
with
the
you.
point of being an artist, is to merge
Here's where I
those two.
agree with you kind of more than him. Probably we have a mutual, very good friend. One of my best friends, one of his best friends. I've known for however long, and he's chosen a very boring line of after
Far
years.
from us to judge.
Yeah, exactly. But he's chosen something where it's just kind of like, whatever. And I've had to say to him a few times, just like, look, he's. Shh.
Somebody pulled my butt plug out.
Oh, sorry.
I'd like to cook dinner.
Damian, I believe in the rider, it was sort of take your butt plug out before you get to the
Oh,
show.
God.
I'm pretty sure that was it.
I never
But-
signed that.
No, that's actually true. You didn't. You sent it back with the smear of
With
your
the
shit.
fuck
on it.
you.
Yeah.
Shit smear.
Sort of weird. I should have known. But I'm someone who's like, I genuinely, again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, I don't care what you believe as long as it's not outside of the realm of like, okay, that's not acceptable. Like, again, where you're just like, I think black people should have
Yes.
to drink out of another
Yes.
water fountain. It's like, nope. No. That's not diversity of opinion.
That crosses the
That's
line
you're just a piece of shit.
that crosses the line of you're a racist.
Exactly. Yeah. And so for some people, I'm like, look, I personally think I have to hack it out in some weird lines of business because working in an office selling insurance would be a recipe for suicide for me. But that's not everybody. Some people can fucking tolerate it, And not only that, it brings their life into focus. And for that, I say good, Everyone has a different
That also creates a world that
center
we can
of
all live
balance.
in, because we need those people.
Exactly. Yeah.
That person serves a purpose in our
And they
in
need
the
us.
world.
They need to show up.
They need
and
artists.
and watch good music and watch good movies.
Now the
and,
unfortunate thing about being an artist is that there's a glut of us.
Yeah.
So we need to.
and most of us suck.
In a weird way, though, I think
Well, we need to at
more
some
competition makes your art better.
point. There's no doubt about that. But at some
Yeah.
point, the glut of us need to find a way to make a living.
Yeah.
Well, and look, this
It's
is
not
this
about
is
being
where
good
I'm
or
like
bad,
a
it's
pro-union
about-
man.
It's not about being good or bad. It's not about being.
It's about showing your tits, I think.
It's I'd show my tits in a heartbeat.
The more often
they're furry.
No one wants to see them. Yeah, exactly. You got to have tits that people
But
want
there's
to
a
see.
point as an artist where you've got to go. I let go, and I'm never going to make a living in this.
Yeah, absolutely,
And
absolutely.
that's the crux of.
That's the hard thing. Well, again, just as it's
that's
insane.
why I don't bemoan artists who do some shit to make some money and then just disappear in obscurity. Like, for instance, John Kay from Steppenwolf is a blind human being who sang some iconic rock songs, and then at some point decided as a blind man he was going to make films that no one has ever seen. I've never seen one.
Well,
Can't
he
find him anywhere.
including
Who
him,
cares?
including
He
him.
spent
by
the
the way.
last 25
He never saw any
years.
of it.
He spent the last 25 years making movies that literally no one has seen, including him. So
Who
like,
cares? Like he did what he wanted to
Yeah,
do,
whatever.
and
That's
and,
awesome.
And our scope
that's
of our
badass.
lives, we don't know anything about him. Like, was he able to eat? Was he able to support a family?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to
I
anyone.
think if you sang "Born to Be Wild," you'd probably be able to eat.
But in our scope of our lives,
Yeah, right.
like we love that song. We all know that song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This guy-
I actually love that band.
This guy was able to live and make a living.
Yeah.
And for us, it made no difference in our lives.
The only difference in our lives it made was it improved our lives by adding
Musically.
to it musically. Exactly. Yeah.
So
But that's why I do what I
did he
do.
earn that money?
100%.
I mean, who's to quantify?
I know.
how
I
much something is
absolutely
worth,
think he
you
earned
know?
his money.
Well, I would never use the word deserve
Yeah.
because that connotates there's a universal.
You were owed
Contracts
something.
that somebody
yeah,
else-
Yeah.
Did he earn it? Yes, we all paid to listen to
Sure.
Born to Be Wild.
Sure. Yes. He
And
earned
we
it
all we
literally.
loved it.
Yeah.
He earned that money, and he can do whatever he wants with it. If he went and wasted his life on drugs and died at 27, which a lot of people did,
Most of my favorite
a
musicians.
lot of musicians have, but if he did, that's what he chose to do.
Yeah.
But to this day, we still listen to his music. We love him and we appreciate him,
Yeah.
and he earned that.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's the thing that I'm chasing, I guess. Right? Like, is
Dragon.
no.
That's
Yeah.
a different story.
Oh, so
What,
that's a
what
hell of
you
a habit.
what you're looking for as an artist?
What I'm looking
And
for
you're
is to make a
30,
memory
right?
for someone.
You're 30.
No, I'm 28.
You
How
fucking
dare you?
you child.
I'm 30.
You're 30.
He's 30.
Wait, I thought you guys were like graduated together.
Essentially.
So he went to- he
he's
skipped
at
a
the
year.
back end of his class.
He was slow.
I'm at the top end of my class.
You
He's at
either
the
you
back
were
end.
slow or he was slow.
He
I
graduated
was
a year
really,
before me.
I was really slow.
But as an
Yeah,
artist,
he took like a year off school
Like-
or some shit.
we
Right.
all have the same kind of goal here. Whether I'm a business owner or I'm an actor,
Sure.
we do what we love to do. We want to be recognized.
Yes.
And we want to be able to make a living at what we
Yes,
love
and
to
that's
do,
why
right?
earlier I was saying if there's a civil war, are we going to be on the same side or not? Because I think we would be. You know, like I think people
Damn,
have.
this guy just brings it full circle.
Yeah. And there's.
We finished that bottle of whiskey, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Oh, dude, I'm shit faced.
But also, you did. No one had to hear you say that.
I openly grabbed.
He's the only one.
Yeah.
I openly grabbed a glass of water.
I've had basically
on
nothing
camera.
to drink. Glass of.
I understand it makes me a bitch. It was just that's.
All right, fine. Let's wrap up.
How dare you wrap up?
But I do think that we'd all be on the same side.
Okay.
I think
think
that
so.
we're all. I think that at
because
some
we're rational
point.
human beings.
Well, I think that at some point we're all the poor.
Yes.
We're all the ones that are struggling,
Yes, of course.
and so it goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's going to wind up being
So what would happen?
But if you were
what
rich,
would
it's
happen?
the Ronald
rich,
Reagan
what would you
What
say?
would happen if one of us three, anyone, was just holding on to a lot of money? Would we think differently because of that?
I don't know. I can only say for me
Yes.
personally. Like if I won the lottery,
I'm talking about a lot of money worth protecting. You know, like a shit ton.
like if I won the mega lottery,
Yes.
I won 5 lotteries.
you guys,
Ultra lottery or nothing.
and let's be honest. I've known you guys for like 2-3 years.
Probably 3.
If I won the
That's
mega
way
lottery,
3 or 4.
you guys would never have to work.
That would be awesome.
up.
Because if
But
I
that's not-
if I wanted to,
That's not even bullshit.
Yeah.
It's me being Like
Yeah.
I would make sure that I could make enough money for myself to
Exactly.
never have to worry again.
Fucking
Dude,
But I
protect.
would
that's
take
exactly
care of-
where I'm at.
Of
Yes.
the people that I respect that are in
Yes,
my lives.
yes.
You
that are-
gotta.
I
and-
completely understand. Okay,
So-
okay, I got you.
So yes, we would. If there were a revolution,
Mhm.
I would take care of my own.
Yeah.
And it would go not. It would not be about art. It would be about the haves and the have-nots.
Well, it's-
But it's also because
About
we
values,
all
you know, like-
appreciate the
Donald
underdog,
Trump would
right?
go down.
Yeah, well, he'd get bombed.
But you appreciate.
He'd
The-
fucking bomb from the sky.
I feel like one thing that
Where does all the good art come from?
Trump.
Pain.
Oh,
I agree with that.
sorry, I totally
No, but-
misread you there.
I think it comes
Yes,
from,
it comes
from
from pain.
truth, and pain is truth is often pain.
So rich pain, rich truth is not the same as struggling.
Hey, dating a rich bitch, fucking.
She
I
has-
can tell you, she's
she
got
has
pain.
nothing-
It's just bullshit.
She has nothing to say compared to what you have to say.
Well,
And
yeah,
that's
true.
And
That's
that's not
true.
taking anything
no,
away.
no,
from
that's
her.
true, and she
Yes.
knows it, and she's a.
I'm
and
not
luckily, she's
judging
self-aware.
her,
No, no, no.
but the art
That's
of
just
it
true.
comes from the
That's just-
pain.
But,
That's true.
however,
Yeah.
there is a specific pain to being kept in the zoo of Bel Air or Beverly Hills or whatever, and being actually in a weird way restricted from being able to learn the sort
Yeah.
of painful life
That
lessons you should
pain
learn.
don't count. When pain comes
No.
from not being able to eat, living in an apartment with
I
four
agree.
people trying to
I
pay
can, I,
rent.
for the
I
record, I
agree.
completely.
When you're a Bel Air person, I can't afford to give my Chihuahua the
Yes.
best
Yes.
food.
I
Like,
can't
no,
afford-
I'm
No,
sorry.
I'll agree. I'll agree. There's a
I'm
difference.
Sorry, that's
I'll agree there's a
not
difference.
the
Fuck you, it's
same.
bullshit.
What I'm
And
not.
that-
I'm not saying
that
there's
goes
not a difference.
across to Afghanistan and
It's actually
No, but
okay
what
in the,
I'm
in the
saying
way
is
that, in
that
the way that it
everyone's
comes
work-
across to other people. It's really like, look, if you're gonna, like, look, as a friend, I'll listen to you, and
of course,
Right.
but in the way that it comes
Yes.
across to other
What the
people,
hell
you're
was that?
complaining about what? Your room is only 16 by 19 feet. That is a gigantic fucking room, you spoiled idiot. Like, you don't understand.
Well, there's a difference between being somebody's friend and listening to them and understanding what they're going through.
Yeah, sure.
As opposed to
Also, everybody feels pain. I'm not
That's
saying.
that's all. I'm
giant
saying.
idea.
Yeah.
The global idea of where the revolution's coming. Like, look, I live in a one.
I think the
bedroom
revolution is going into a nosedive into a pile of shit. Is how I would see it. Yeah, everything seems to be going wrong right now. It's one of the only times in history where I'm like,
apartment. When you pull things into focus,
I wish I
we're,
could.
we're in the same boat.
Yes.
Now, I'm a landlord. I have a rental unit.
How much do you charge?
I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom.
I would fucking.
It's
rent
actually
a place
bigger
for
than
you.
this place, but it's only 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom.
Just saying.
But my point is,
You probably fucking charge 26.
We're two people.
21.
21.
Well, my
That's not
point.
bad.
My point is,
That's
21
when
two
you-
bedroom, two
it's in Tarzana.
bigger than this. Tarzan is not that bad.
It's far.
With traffic, that's far.
That's far.
That's far.
But my point is, like when you
Yeah,
put
actually,
that
that
into,
sucks,
when you
dude.
put that into
Unless you're going to
focus
Maui Sugar Mill.
well, Jason used to
Represent.
work there.
Hey, that
They're-
place
you know,
is,
they have
that
GoFundMe
place is
going
closing
on
down.
right
They're
now.
doing way better than we are in their GoFundMe.
Really? How is that possible?
I think they're
No one gives a fuck about that place.
no that
Maui is shutting down.
That's what I
They're
heard.
gonna. They're at the point where they're doing a GoFundMe. They're shutting down, man.
we're doing a GoFundMe too.
I know you guys are.
Their base
Maui,
is a
anyway.
specific little base.
but- Yeah.
So they'll get a
You mean
lot
Slash fans?
I don't know about that. But they'll get a lot of little donations from
Uh-huh.
a million people, and we're a bigger club. We're kind of big
Chickens?
in the industry, so we're going to get a
Oh, go
lot
for
of
it.
small donations.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
but my point
no,
is-
that makes
my-
sense because there's some rich people in
My
Tarzana.
my
too,
point
that
my
say
point
that.
of us is that what I have in my life, because I'm a little bit older than you guys. When you pull
Define
it
a little bit.
off, I'm twice your age. When you pull it into focus, we're basically in the same boat.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what we're talking about in the scope of all this.
Yeah.
Of left and right, Democrat, Republican,
Sure.
Independent.
Do you think they represent left and right?
No.
No,
I
of
was
course
gonna
not.
say.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I think
I
there's
think-
a real
I
left.
think
It's all about
today's
the down
Republican
question.
Party,
They're plutocratic, man.
I
They
think today's-
love corporations.
today's Republican Party represents people that make $1 million And today's Democratic Party represents people that make $500,000.
Fucking both of them, man. Yeah, they're out of touch.
90% of the country.
I'd say I
Not
agree, but
represented.
I would reverse that. I would say
You think
Democrats
make more?
Democrats represent the rich more than the Republicans.
I would actually agree with that.
I think the
Because
Democrats.
of the new tech companies.
I think the Democrats.
Because of the new tech
I think the Democrats represent popular people,
Yeah, but those popular people are very rich.
but the Republicans represent the real.
Ugh.
I think they
The
both
ones-
represent the real rich.
billionaires.
They both look.
I think the billionaires are in bed.
could
with
we
both of them.
compromise? Could we
You know what I mean?
compromise?
Either way,
Could we compromise by saying they both represent rich people and fuck people who are
what we're
working?
what we're saying is that we're unrepresented
Ben
as,
Ford
as,
dropped the hammer.
as the base
Fucking disgusting.
as the base of the economy,
Yeah.
as the people that
Can I have your sweatshirt?
no, it has my name on
I know, that's why I wanted it.
it. That as the base
I
of
was
the
gonna
economy,
say, do you have
we're
an absurd shirt? We need to
unrepresented.
give him an absurd shirt.
What?
As the base of the economy, we are unrepresented.
Yes.
100%, dude.
Well, yeah, of course. But that's why we've been getting fucked over.
And
for
we've been
as long as
giving-
we've been getting fucked
We've
over.
been giving nuggets.
Sure.
The reason why Trump won is because he focused on economic populism.
Well, Trump
All he
won
did
because
is-
he's full of shit.
But the way he marketed
I
his
like
campaign,
shit though.
the way he marketed his campaign was
He shit his
was-
pants
was
earlier.
popular.
You were totally anti
That
that.
was yeah. That's true.
And now
That's
you're
true.
pro
That's
it.
true. I'm pro shit now.
Wait,
all
I
right.
pulled the
Okay.
Jerry
All right.
Nadler.
Look, the truth is that I am pro and anti shit when it's convenient.
It's convenient for you.
I just changed.
This man's opinions on shits are waffly at best.
All right.
waffle shit.
All right. Let's wrap this shit up.
Yeah,
Rep-
we deteriorated.
This is no. This is
I
great.
want to talk more
This
about
is-
waffle shits.
I'm sure you do. This is great entertainment. Let's see. Okay. I got two questions.
IHOP blows.
Not as good as Waffle House, but Waffle House.
Waffle House blows more than IHOP,
staple-
but that kind of
Yeah,
makes
when
it more
you're drunk
enjoyable.
at 2 in the morning.
I would rather go to
IHOP
Waffle House because, like, at that point, I'm looking for
I've
shit,
been
you
I've
know
been
what I
drunk
mean?
at 2 in the morning or 4 in the morning at IHOP many times.
Or Denny's.
It's pretty close.
Hey, I'm talking about if they're open and I can go sit somewhere. I'm not allowed to.
Not
Okay,
during a pandemic.
I can
Okay.
still order a deli.
two
plate.
things.
What's going on?
You gotta. No, that's a shirt.
What is that?
Do you want a shirt that
Oh,
says?
it's an absurd shirt.
Do you want
That's a magic shirt.
a shirt that says "fuck the absurd" or that one?
I'm good either way.
Fuck the absurd seems like your style. I don't know. You
I
seem
you
like the
guys.
kind of
No,
guy
I'm not-
who would-
I like you guys. I would never say fuck this. Actually,
All right.
But are you a fan of Primus?
No.
I love Primus.
Then that's the right shirt for him.
I was honest with you guys from the day you played Harvelles
True.
Right.
3 years ago that you're one of my favorite bands.
True.
Thank you,
And
man.
you're one of the bands that came through, and I was like, wow, these guys are amazing.
You're gonna make me cry.
And this is, I'm not blowing smoke. This is not because you have me on your podcast. Pretty absurd.
This guy's blowing smoke.
It says "fuck" on it. No, I'm not kidding. To have someone like you,
It was literally you and oh god,
Westerner.
Western.
that other band.
That was when my
whose name
parents
I
were
can't
dancing. My
remember.
parents
So-
were at that show.
So that's not me blowing smoke. I loved you guys from the beginning, and you're one of the bands that stood out for me. And that doesn't happen very often. I've been in Harvelles 3 years.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Were you
happen
there when
very-
Fox Tracks was there?
I don't know who that.
That's how we got in. Was Fox Tracks.
Okay. So 2 questions. Second
This is going to
question.
go on forever. There's
Okay.
so two questions.
There's 2 more questions. The hell are you talking
I
about,
haven't been
man?
able to ask him, but
Oh, okay.
What are they?
for some weird reason.
I don't understand what that reason might be.
Second question is going to be top
Wait,
5 bands that you
start
can't live
with the
without.
second.
First question is the future, future of the music scene in LA, which I understand that it's a hub, but how does it recover? Where do we go? What does it look like for the next few years? And when does it come back to being
Okay, so
really the proper LA music scene that it was?
realistically, LA music scene coming back is going to be very dependent on how well this rollout on the vaccine happens.
Okay.
I think that
They got the medical workers
In
got their
who?
first vaccines. Right?
I think
in
that
California.
in January we're going to see outdoor stuff happening again.
Yeah.
I think
I
that
want the first outdoor show at Harvelles.
Yeah,
if we can do it.
dude, West Side Revival is
Yeah.
going to happen right away.
We will crop. We will crush it.
I think that we'll be able to start doing stuff live inside, broadcast outside shows.
Yeah.
sometime in early January.
Right.
I think that we'll be allowed to open inside at a minimal capacity sometime in March.
Okay.
So, for example, Harvelles will be able to have a patio. We'll set tickets for that. We'll sell exclusive tickets for inside.
25% inside.
25% inside. I think that by summer we'll be at 50%.
All right.
I think by end of summer we'll be at 75%. I think by the fall we'll be at 100% inside. That's if there's not another virus that comes through that.
Yeah.
if the
Dude, if the Modelo virus comes through,
well, no.
we're fucked.
I'm legitimately asking for your the
COVID
virus
20.
I hear is the worst.
COVID-20.
Yes.
If there's something
I like
that
the
don't
Kawama virus.
So bearing everything not getting exponentially worse right now.
I think that by the end of 2021,
Sort of early spring next year,
yes, I
we're
think
going to
we'll,
start seeing some return to.
you'll be able to go inside and
Well,
close.
Fauci's already saying what, June,
But this is
which
in line.
means August.
This
you
is
know.
what in line with what she's saying. I think
Okay.
there's not going to be a moment where we're like we're back to normal.
Okay, so
it's
for
going to be a
everybody,
slow burn.
so for
Unless
everybody,
you live in South Dakota,
Jesus
in which
Christ.
case,
okay, so
It will
so
be.
so for everybody who is living here currently, who isn't from here and is thinking, "Yo, I'm going to move out," this isn't worth it. They've shut down because there's a lot of people who are like, they've shut it down. It isn't worth. All the good parts about this city have been blocked
shut
out.
down for sure.
So now all I can do is focus on the negatives. For those people, is there a compelling argument that you have to say, look,
I would say wait a year.
can you convince people to wait a year?
it's an expensive year, dude.
Well, no. The
I'm not
option
saying you can't, by the
the
way.
option
I'm literally just saying
of,
can
the
you?
option of moving here tomorrow or moving here a year from now,
Yeah,
it's actually better for you.
yeah.
Oh, moving. No, he's saying people who live here who are planning on leaving.
Well,
yeah, it's tied in. It's tied in.
I don't know. This goes back to what you believe. What you believe your talent level is, what your commitment is as an artist. Like if you're like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not equivocating. I'm not leaving. This is what I'm going to do for my life. I'm never going to go sell insurance.
Yeah.
Then don't leave.
Yeah, then
But
stay where you are.
But if you're at a point where you're like, this is where I have to make a choice whether I'm going to continue to be an artist
Sure.
or I'm going to go sell cars.
Yeah.
This is the time to go sell cars.
Yeah.
Dude, because it's not coming back in
All right.
6 months.
All
It's not. It's
I
just
got it.
not.
I got.
But if you're a lifer,
If you're
Are
a
there?
lifer,
Okay.
Stick it out.
Fine. Question.
Now
question.
you have to face that idea of I'm a lifer. Like
Yes.
I'm an actor that's I'm never going to change.
You're here.
I'm going to eat bugs for the rest of my life.
Question 1B. Question 1B is.
man, he had 3 questions. He packaged them into 2.
And then there's a B and then there's a 2. All right, no, it's okay. It's okay.
Fuck it. The last question.
No, you can keep it. B is what?
The next time you're invited on to my fucking podcast,
I told you I didn't want to do it. I told you.
It's not true. You said let me do it at all
I
costs.
never said that.
I swear to God, I can show you the text.
Go fight it.
He.
The last question is:
How do we talk without fighting?
I don't know what your musical influences are. I don't know what you grew up on, but if you were forced to go live on a desert island, and you could only take 5 artists with you, who would you take? Doesn't have to be quick. It's an impossible question to answer, but
Yes.
just yes.
That's
They have an
the correct
extensive
answer.
discography.
Yes is one.
Yes is pretty good.
Elvis Costello.
Is yes actually
My
one of your
dad
favorite
is a
bands?
huge fan of Costello, and I don't know why.
Your dad's probably my age. That's probably why.
He's older. Yeah,
How
but
old's your dad?
61. He's a whole 6 years older.
6 years old. You too?
He could kick your ass. That's all.
You too? You two is good.
I don't know. I do flying trapeze twice a week.
Yeah, that's actually true.
The
You
Beatles-
two, why?
The Beatles?
Okay, Beatles is fine, but you two, why? Because you two
This is
is
the Joshua
you
tree,
two
dude.
kicks ass for a little bit and then just sucks it up. They're like Muse. Do you know Muse?
I know Muse.
No, but
I don't
Vertigo
know-
was good.
I don't know if you two sucks it up. I
Yeah,
think
they don't
U2
suck it up.
Oh,
like
they
I
Muse.
think
suck
U2
it up.
Not like
changes
Muse
their-
though.
Oh, they suck.
Muse sucks, dude.
They suck past a certain point.
I don't.
No,
So
unpopular.
art
opinion?
is very
Subjective. Yeah.
So I see
I doubt it.
art.
Yeah.
Art is so subjective.
Art seems like it's spelled.
Dude,
A-R-T.
Arthur
I don't
is a
think
good
that's
guy. That's all I'm
subjective.
saying.
So you asked me my opinion. That's
Yes, I did.
And my fifth one would be the Beatles.
Okay, but no, there's only 4. But why?
Yes, U2, the Beatles, I'll discuss
Yeah,
those
there's,
4.
there's you,
Rolling Stones.
because you were like YouTube.
Rolling
okay.
Stones?
I could, but
With which guitarist?
but with
If you had
U2.
to choose which
Okay, U2 though.
lead
Why?
guitarist.
I picked the band.
Can I ask though, U2 why? Because I actually like a lot of U2
I
stuff,
grew up,
but I
so
hate a lot of U2 stuff too.
so do I. But they were a big influence in my life.
Mm.
So music for most of us, for a lot
What
of
is
us, represents periods
Music, what is it?
represents periods of our lives.
Yes.
Represents memories and
Yes.
these huge moments in our lives.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so for me, U2 had a huge influence. I was Joshua Tree when I was 20,
Joshua Tree is an amazing album.
when I was like 23
For the
years
record,
old.
even though I don't like U2 as a band overall, Joshua Tree is an objective.
Unforgettable Fire is pretty good too.
those were all like influential times in
Yes.
our lives. So
And Octoon Baby is a good record.
Octane
so
Baby's a great record.
I can give you exactly where I was when I listened to Octoon Baby.
Yeah.
Where were
Every
you?
day, living in Germany doing one floor.
How old were you?
26.
So it was kind of a critical time in your life.
But
where you
I
were-
was doing theater in Germany.
Yeah.
And that album was recorded in Berlin.
Mm.
And all we had was a cassette tape of Octoon Baby that we would put in this fucking van that we drove around
Yeah.
Germany doing this play.
U2 is such an interesting band because the Edge always gets mentioned as one of the best guitarists, and I'm like,
He had a certain style.
No, it's because he
He
had
did
a
what he
reverb
did.
pedal.
He
he
did
knew
what
how to
really
use
good at
the
reverb.
fucking. Yeah.
He did what he did.
I think he's good.
He's rad at reverb.
He might be one of the best.
He did
I,
what he
I
did.
don't know. Yeah, exactly. So I can understand why he's there, but U2 is like one of the best bands. I'm like, when I hear them at their best, they are.
They're one of the best.
They really are.
They're probably the best post.
When I hear them at their
So-
hear them at their worst, though, I'm like, dude, this is like Coldplay light.
There's an
Actually,
there's an
Coldplay is like
equivocation.
U2 light.
There's an equivocation about best band
Yeah,
because
yeah, of course, of course. It is.
U2
It's an impossible question.
Everyone knows Pantera is the best band ever.
U2 started
Fuck you,
fucking
Slayer
I
is way
hate
better.
Pantera.
U2 started in the early 80s.
Yeah,
You're like 83.
And those
Yeah.
4 guys
Them and R.E.M.
are still making music
yeah, right.
today. Which is ridiculous.
Oh no, I can't delete it off my iPhone because they make it really hard.
Well, when they give you the injection for the
yeah.
For the
Vaccine,
microchip.
man.
it's not a microchip. They're just giving you a new U2 album.
This won't actually protect you.
You're just gonna hear U2 and
Medically, yeah.
It's okay because that album will cure
You're
AIDS.
never gonna get the coronavirus, but you're gonna hear U2 and
You're fucking fine otherwise. Like,
So there's something to be said for that lasting value.
yeah.
I agree
I
with
mean,
that. That's why if I would say Alice in
hard.
Chains is in my
Okay.
5 because of just when I was 13, when I was 15, Alice in Chains was very important.
Oh,
to
they
me.
were a band.
I know they
sort of obscure,
But
yeah.
U2 lasted through them.
They had a hell of a
on.
career. Okay, so look when
U2's Super Bowl performance
You
is
fucker.
maybe the best Super Bowl.
when
performance.
you're on
Bruno
here.
Mars is pretty good.
Bruno Mars was the best since U2, I'll say that.
All right. We'll end it this way.
What are you saying?
Let's have you
Jerk?
recap top 5. I believe you have room
He
for
said-
one more band.
He said no, he said Rolling
Recap.
Stones.
I had to add
Rolling Stones. Okay, what was the top 5 again?
Yes, Elvis Costello, U2, Beatles, and Rolling Stones.
That's a pretty good top
That's
5.
fair. That's a very good top 5.
There's
All right,
there's
well-
nothing I'm like really taking issue
Talk
with.
all you want, but we're done here. I think we won.
Ben, what's your fucking top 5?
I don't give a shit, man.
He's never given his top 5 on this show.
It's his show. He doesn't have to.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
I mean, like Bob Dylan for sure, right?
Top 5.
Oh, it's gonna tell a Dylan story.
Yes.
So I went.
You
to
met
see-
Dylan?
No, I never met him, but I went to
I
a
fucking saw him.
Dylan show in I think it was at Webster Hall in New York. I can't remember
Nice.
the name of the venue.
I fucking saw
This
him.
was
a
in
few
the like
times.
late '80s, early '90s, and he came out and he played like an hour and 45 minutes set, and he had a wireless mic, and he was just jamming. And he walked into the audience, and the audience went crazy. And he walked through that middle aisle, and walked out the back, and left. And the band kept playing, and we were all like rocking. And he never fucking came back.
You don't have to worry about that.
That was it.
He just sold his entire discography
Dude,
to
that's so
Universal.
awesome.
That was he just left.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
He just
badass.
left.
Dylan, I saw him the first time I saw him. I've seen him live 3 times. The first time I saw him, he didn't say a word the entire time.
He's just like, I
He
totally
just
this
started
fucking-
playing
That's
and
totally
like
done.
not even between songs. He wasn't just like, hey, between like the 7th and 8th song, he was just like, Lansing, Michigan. I'm like, and then he just goes in the next song. I'm
cookie.
like,
Quest cookie.
She's not. She's going to get the banjos from her car.
Damn,
But-
she's getting
Oh,
banjos.
dude, we got banjos.
Did you know that
Damien, can you
Dylan
play the
just
banjo?
sold his entire catalog to
I'm a little bit older than you, so I've already
Oh,
had.
no, I'm 28.
Benjamin,
so-
I'm
this
twice
podcast?
raised. So I've already had
Yep.
like the
Oh, we did?
schooling, and I've gone to, I've studied philosophy,
You're
I've studied
young
science.
person,
sure about
right?
that?
Exactly.
Podcast is done.
My
Are
benefit
you
is
positive
I'm done.
that
Try to
happened?
look at your
I don't
pre-retirement.
remember signing off.
I can just do shit that I want
You're
to do.
seeing your pre-retirement, basically.
Yeah.
Which I totally understand. My mom